have to slave night and day for next to nothing pay, so they can't see their way. We don't enjoy equal facility like Pharaoh and company. Brainwashing we say we free. We just can't hold this way. We just can't hold this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't hold this way. Time to make them oppressors pay. We just can't hold this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't hold this way. Suffer like this. You said that you will take care of the poor, just like you did in Egypt when Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage. You delivered them, but here again we are in the same khaki pants. We have those modern Pharaohs who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lies. Not even thinking that we will realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppressors pay. So the children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray.
have something. You don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day, and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil. Why? Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With that dragon, now you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man do get nothing easy. I say you get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it can how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With that eagle eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. Say we got up one morning, independence happening, getting the thing come easy. Now they're taking liberty, but if they know about petition, we are to send to England for some woman to tell we in this colony free. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. People hold you, humiliate you, turn on and sell you, and then they free you. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get a little something. With that dragon eye, you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. So when a black man gets something, he got to start thinking. You get it easy. You got to practice economy. From getting licks from the slave master to become the land owner. Brother, is a terrible journey, back with plenty brutality. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to rise up, you got to stand up. Make up your mind, you will always stay on top. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man.
Hey, hey, oi, oi. Hey, hey, oi, oi. In Trinidad and Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us. by some people in the country to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have bought a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we. From India and some came from Africa. Look today, their descendants are here, coexisting together. There are others who came here too, the Chinese, Syrians and such. Native people are just a few in this land that we love so much. But the politics of the day and the love for a party cause people to begin to say them is them and we is we. From now on this country is we. From now on we all shall be one. From now on that's how it shall be. From now on all division done. As today united we stand, the people of Trinbago, one country, one nation, one island. Chutney Pan and Calypso, it's Trinidad and Tobago, better known as TNT. And we want the whole world to know we see ourselves as we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we. In this nation is no more, and Mother China done disappear, gone away for good I'm sure. If we want to build a real nation, there can be no we and them. In spite of ethnic persuasion, all should fit in the system. Side by side we stand hand in hand within the society. This here paradise island, because you and I means we. From now on love and is we. From now on race do not matter. From now on we means unity. From now on we are together. They cannot divide me again, cause we enter a new era. United we shall all remain, looking out for each other. Eric tell me matter they done. Today it is plain to see a new paradigm has begun, and that paradigm is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we. Some politicians have tried their best to keep we subdivided, as their policies would attest. And now we are united, using that old colonial scheme. They sought to divide and rule, because if we are not a team, we are more easy to fool. Look, they had us fighting each other, causing misery and pain. Now all these times are gone forever, before never again. From now on Trinidad is we. From now on one philosophy. From now on Tobago shall be. From now on standing equally. No more African, no more Indian. We shall all be citizens, forged together to build one nation. Though we are different persons, done away with the we and them. In this land of La Trinity, whenever we sing the anthem, from now on is only we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we. this nation is we.
No more we and them.
From now on, this nation is we and we and we and we.
It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. It's so sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners, of course, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the village with yours truly, Professor Wall Street, and my partner, the man himself, called Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. And you know, we come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. TNT time and 6 to 9 p.m. USA time. Yes, yes. 7 to 10 p.m. TNT time and 6 to 9 p.m. USA time. Let me bring in my partner, the young man himself, the one and only man, the incomparable, the man himself, the young man they call Uncle Tommy Boy. Tommy, how you going?
Good evening to you. I'm going well, and how are you going this evening?
Tommy, you know, I can't complain, man. Things are going splendiferous, tremendous, marvelous, fantabulous, wonderfulicious. I can't complain. You
That's
know,
fabulous.
you know. For the first day today, I tried to do some crossing and I ride 5 miles on the bike.
Whoa, 5 miles
Yeah,
back. That's good. That was quite good.
yeah, yeah. I say, you know what?
What was a stationary bike or a real
Yeah,
bike?
the stationary bike. Mhm. I said, let me cross train today and go and ride the bike. You know, and it felt good, man. It felt pretty good.
All
I, I,
right.
I couldn't complain at all. It felt very, very, very good. You know,
Excellent.
but Tommy boy, out there was cold today, boy.
Yeah, I see.
But a wind chill factor, you know, boy. That breeze was blowing all over the place, boy. You know, but you know, Tommy,
Still
as we
winter
talking about sports, right? Tommy, you know Lester Powder.
in New Jersey.
Yeah, he lived in Maplewood. Let's call him Sean Powder.
I'm not sure if I know him by what's his nickname.
I don't know him by his nickname, you know. I know him by Lester, but his
I
name
probably
is.
would have. I probably would know him by seeing him.
He from Tobago. And what that was to say, Tommy, The Trinidad and Tobago under 20 national team crashed out of the CONCACAF under 20 championships. Crashed out.
Right.
They were beaten 3-0 by Canada. Right? And the reason why I'm bringing up this point is two reasons. One, Leicester has 3 kids. They all play soccer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 of them is very, very good. 2 of them, I used to train them to get better, more fully conditioned when they want to feel. And his bigger son is now playing for Trinidad national team. His name is Noah Powder, right? And his second son, I'm not sure what he's doing, but his third son tried out for Trinidad under 20 national team, and he didn't make it. I think his mother is Haitian, so he tried out for the Haitian under 20 national team. He made it, and now Haiti's in the finals of the
Oh,
under 20 CONCACAF.
wow.
Trinidad crashed out there, and this young man couldn't make it, but he made 80 team, and the same 80 team, made it to the final.
Wow.
But you know what make it worse, Tommy? The under 20 game against Canada was in the Hazy Crawford Stadium. And people showed up to the game, Tommy, and they were turned away.
Why?
You know, that's a good question, boy. Who I could call and find out about that, boy? I heard something saying that the capacity was only 6,000, and they had reached a capacity, and the fire department wasn't allowing anyone else in the stadium.
Into the facility.
That's
But
what I heard.
I realized tonight that you forgot to play the doctor.
There we go. Thank you so much. Let's play that right now.
It have our place WZYE, where they treat you like friends and family. So if you're looking for a place to belong, going WZYE, you could come along. If you have haste, come with me. We have dad on WZYE, Santa Medite.
All right.
There we go. Thank you, Tommy. Thanks for the reminder. Let me go quickly into the chat.
I find some people missing from the chat.
Yeah, we have Caribbean Soul was in first tonight. Caribbean Soul, welcome. Good night, WZYE TV and listeners. Bizram was next. Bizram from Fishing Pond, Sandy Grande.
That's
And
correct.
Tommy, we have some news about Sandy Grande after we did that expose there.
Of course.
We have some news. Yeah, man. Yeah. Patricia Hutchinson, welcome. Blessed evening to Professor Walsh and Uncle Tommy and everyone viewing
Good
local and
evening.
abroad. Blessings to you all. Thank you.
Blessings to
Jerome
you.
Moses, welcome. Good night. Blessings to you and your family. And Carice, welcome, Carice.
Yeah.
So Tommy,
I'm missing my sweethearts. I'm missing.
yeah, she go show up, man.
I'm missing
Oh,
Nadia.
yes. You could always find a new one, you know.
You want me to find a new sweetheart? No, my heart.
Yeah, you could always find a new one, you know. If she go too long missing in action.
All
But
right.
Tommy, the thing is this, right? That's why we have so much problems with sports in Trinidad and Tobago. We, the sports people in Trinidad and Tobago, only get support. Well, let me rephrase that. They get major support when they become successful. When the hard work is being put in to get there, they are ignored. And there's a young lady out of St. Vincent. I'm trying to get her on the program. Tommy, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I saw this story on Sportsmax, I was crying, to be honest with you. Because I know the lady, but I didn't know she was from St. Vincent. I know the young lady. She went to Arkansas University, half miler, same event I run. And she was complaining to me, boy, that she didn't have no place to stay.
St. Vincent didn't give her nothing. And she ran the second fastest time indoors in the world in the 800 meters. All in a sudden now, St. Vincent is on board now. The Prime Minister get on board. I'm trying to get the Prime Minister too as well. Everybody on board now, Tommy.
Well, that's
Everybody.
kind of good.
Eh?
It's kind of good in a way. Better late than never.
No, I do this. I disagree with that. I sent a voice note. It's easy to search facts. Oh, okay. Yeah, and we have another fact check tonight too. Padeli cry baby voice. Yeah. Tommy, them fellas didn't learn it, you know. But I think I want to start here because let me go. I'm not gonna play this whole thing, but I want you all to listen to this. And this is by Anil Roberts. Yeah? And you see, we here play things when it talks about have a drastic effect on the country. That's what we do.
Right? We believe in country before party.
Country before party. Correct is right. Let's see if this is it here. No, that's not it. Let me see something. Yeah, Anil Roberts made a very valid point. Let me get it here. About certain situations that happen in Trinidad when we talk about sports. And Tommy, I could talk about sports in Trinidad, you know.
I'm sure you can.
I can talk about sports in Trinidad. Yeah? And I can talk about the things that I went through as a sports figure in Trinidad and Tobago running for Trinidad. I could talk about the experience. You understand? So let's listen to Anil Roberts. Right? Take a listen to this.
Doubles and Coffee are now returned from the Hazy Crawford Stadium, where Trinidad and Tobago was given a schooling in sport science, in preparation, in preparing young people to dream and have a modicum of success and a chance at achieving their dreams. It was a football game, but Trinidad and Tobago, we all got a sporting lesson from Canada. We got beaten 3-0. And to the boys, to the players, to the coaches, to the team, Trinidad and Tobago, thank you for your effort. You really did your best. You tried your best. But the fact of the matter is that from the outset, we had no chance because as coaches, as administrators, as leaders, as sports people, as parents, we leave our children out like lambs to the slaughter because we don't prepare them. We let them dream of success, dream of qualification, dream of going to the World Cup, dream of getting to the next round, when truth and in fact, the lack of preparation, the lack of intelligence, the lack of understanding, the lack of commitment to sport by the leaders, by the coaches, by the teachers, by those who are to prepare the athletes is woeful. Canada is not the best team in the CONCACAF. They're probably the third best or fourth best behind USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, or Panama. You could interchange. But Canada started off at the beginning. And it's not just about football, every single sport. Why did we have no chance? Let's analyze. First and foremost, every Canadian player had on a GPS, which is a vest that gives you statistics as a coach so that you know what your athlete is doing. It gives you information on speed, how distance achieved, how far you ran, your heart rate, your recovery time, your walking. Some of them are even connected to Bluetooth to say how much time you actually spent on the ball. That's in a game. Trinidad and Tobago did not have any GPS vests on under their uniform. So our coaches were basically guessing. They're in the dark because it's not just about the game. If these vests are on the Canadians, that means in their training and their preparation, in their fitness, in their running, in the anaerobic threshold sets, in their speed sets, the coaches have scientific data on each and every player so that they can individualize their fitness, their regimen, their speed, their coordination. Then we came out for the anthems. And while they stood up for the anthems, and of course, Trinidad and Tobago's anthem is far superior than that of Canada. However, I was observing the players and lean muscle mass, pure leg strength, definition, calves, muscle, quads, hamstrings. We were lacking by at least, if there were 11 players on 11 players, the Canadians had a minimum of 4 pounds of lean muscle mass on their legs, on their lower extremities, as compared to our boys. 11 by 4, that's 44 pounds of muscle. If this muscle is also fast twitch, well-trained, fit, you would see that physiologically we stood no chance. The game began, and you could see that it was like men playing boys. The physicality, the movement, the confidence, the strength, the balance of the Canadians, no matter how much skill our boys may have had, and we have some very talented, gifted dribblers and skill, but if you can't get the ball, if you can't get time on the ball, if you can't move to the ball, you are lost. Then we saw, as the game started, the first 10 minutes, clearly our players mentally were not prepared. The Canadians were confident, calm. If you could have seen a sort of professionalism. Yes, it was a big moment, but they weren't nervous. They were focused. They knew what they were doing. Our boys, obviously, we're at home. We have a chance. We're dreaming. But because of lack of preparation, lack of mental prep, lack of training, you have to train the mind just as you train the body. Our boys, whatever skill they had, was left a bit in the change room because they were too nervous, they were frightened, they were scared, they wanted to perform so well, they wanted to make their dreams come true, that they put too much pressure on themselves and took themselves out of the ideal performance state, which caused a sort of panic. This added to the calamity because then the Canadians settled down and moved the ball around. And
real talk. Starting a business isn't for the faint of heart.
meeting us. Our good players were diminished because they now had to hustle and run without the ball, struggling to get a touch, to get a feel, getting a touch once in a blue moon and then taking a time and trying to get it to settle down and roll it. But the Canadians were swarming all over our players, turning each and every one into a panic mode. So mentally, we were not prepared. Physiologically, we were not prepared. Fitness-wise, the Canadians were far superior. Strength-wise, we couldn't body them off the ball. We couldn't hustle. We couldn't get around them. They were just far superior. And then now you come to the actual playing of the game, the strategy. The Canadians knew what their plan was. They were so well drilled that you could see it even under pressure. They all knew what they were doing, when they should move, how they should move. Their thinking and decision making was sharp and on point. Players were always available. When you look at the field, you could not see any red jerseys. It appeared that some of our players were so frightened, so overawed by the occasion that they were hiding behind, just not making that angle to get the pass, to collect the pass. The Canadians were showing for it. And they built in confidence because in football, the more you have the ball, the more confident you are. We were lucky to get out of it 3-0. Our goalkeeper made some good saves. The Canadians did not really mash gas. It looked like they played well within themselves. They played at about 75, 80%. But touch-wise, the Canadians were skillful. We talk about skill and we believe Trinidad and Tobago, we are gifted and brilliant with skill. Yes, we have created artistry and dribbling, but simply collecting a ball in space, moving and passing, supporting, it just wasn't there. And then we went in 1-0 at the half. We made some changes, but the Canadians absorbed. Our changes lasted and made a little impact for about 6 or 7 minutes. But then if you're not fit and you can't keep moving, you can't match the Canadians, the field becomes bigger. They look like they had 14 players to our 8 players. They were always in space. They were always defending. If one of our players was able to make a turn, he was met by 3 other Canadians coming to shut him down, while other players were not there in support because we were physically tired. We're not as fast. And when you get physically tired, your brain, your decision making slows down. So it showed that our boys, while they were dreaming, they were laying in their beds and they dreamt about going to the next round of CONCACAF. The truth is, they never had a chance. And we as administrators, as coaches, as leaders, have to take the blame for that. So we apologize to you, the athletes, because we have not made ourselves smart enough. We've not put science into play. We've not prepared you with your God-given talent and given you a fair chance to really achieve. We let you dream, but you have no chance to succeed. And that, I think, is a sin. That we cannot and must not continue. When children dream, there must be some modicum of possibility of success. Out there in sport, we are treating sport like analog, while everybody else is on AI. We're not using the science, we're not doing the physical fitness, we're not in the gyms, we're not fast enough, we don't even know, we don't even record, we don't know heart rates at what speed, we don't know the distance run, we don't know the movement, we don't know how strong we need to be. We have a big, tall, nice number 4 in the back, but it looked like he didn't do any squats in his life. The 2 long legs, but looking like matchstick, played brilliantly, very intelligent, good defender. But can he compare at 19 or 20 years old to those out there in the world? No, not his fault, our fault, because the cross training is not there, the mental preparation is not there, the planning and periodization is not there, the strategy and play. This is not a criticism just of the coach. Coach tried his best. Children tried their best. Those players are the best that we have. And therefore, their inability to match the 3rd or 4th place team in CONCACAF like that and be decimated at every level means that our Montessori coaches, our coaches who have training schools from 4 years old to 8 years old, we are woefully behind. Our primary school coaches, we are woefully behind. Our secondary school coaches, Form 1, under 14, under 16, under 19, we are woefully behind. We need to read, we need to study, we need to get smarter, we need to plan, we need to periodize, and we need to implement. Our boys had no chance because we weren't bright enough. That is not good enough. Trinidad and Tobago, and that applies to every sport: netball, cricket, across the ball, tennis. We have Davis Cup. We're getting blown out from Caribbean islands. Any sport, archery, diving, swimming, water polo, come down the board, beach volleyball. We as coaches are in the prehistoric times and we have to get with the times. So we cannot have the boys dreaming of qualification when, truth be told, they had no chance because we didn't do the right thing. Blessings. I hope this gets to each and every one, all the parents, all the athletes. We have to understand that you have talent. God gave you talent. But from every level, from junior level, from a primary school moving up, we have to improve what we do, how we prepare, why we do it, why do we cross train, what is the fitness, what is our lactate tolerance level, what's our mental ability, how do we focus, how do we make decisions, what sort of touch, whatever game, how do we do core work, what sort of cross training. We have to plan it, implement it, stick to it, and then our children can dream about success. We're putting them out in our world, and the world is taking their time and respecting the talents of their children. That's what's taking place, while we in Trinidad and Tobago are not helping. Bless. It was sad.
Well, Tommy,
There it is.
I decided that I will play the whole thing, and here is why. Yeah? I'll tell you something. You see, sports in Trinidad, especially in the last 9 years, we have gone back to the Stone Age. And watch it, Tommy. Coming up this week is the World Indoor Championships. And Jerome Richards is the defending champion in the 400 meters. right? So he's set to defend his 400 meters world championship indoor title. And it starts tomorrow, right? Now, he has a very good chance to defend his title. It's not going to be easy, but watch and you're going to see something. When is the last time you heard about Dream Richards?
Not.
Okay, good. Watch and you're going to see if Dream Richards win that gold medal. Watch. For a week, the talk of the town will be Dream Richards. And then after that, we go back to normal. Now, I could talk about this because my son attended college on a soccer scholarship. And I used to tell him, I said, listen, the person who is the fittest person on the field, you don't have to be the most skillful person sometimes. But the most fittest person on the field stays longer on the field. And he had some skills to me because I teach him skills with a Z. I gave
Mm,
real skills.
I
You
hear
see?
that.
Yeah. I gave him real skills. So most of the time, as a freshman in college, he went into college as an offensive player. And the coach started him as a defensive player as a freshman. Because, first of all, he had skills, he had speed, he could jump, and many things we did in training. For example, I used to have him go and do hills. He used to complain all the time. They have a hill, they used to call it the Malcolm Hill.
Name it after him.
Name after him because people used to see me out there with him running up them hills. Running up them hills.
Mm.
And this is before this is when he was in high school, You understand?
We
So
have another Trinidadian youth, this offspring that is doing great things with football, soccer, as they call it in the States.
I think he signed with the Red Bulls.
We're talking about Royal Mitchell.
I think that's him. I think that's him. I
Jelly,
think I know
you
some
know
one of them
Jelly,
guys.
JB the runner who used to run.
Yeah,
JB,
yeah, 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 yeah. I know him.
JB's son.
That's his son.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and I know his son was very, very good, very good.
yeah, that's
And
JB's son.
yeah, I think he used to play for PDA. PDA is one of the top clubs here in New Jersey. And my son used to play for PDA also, which was one of the top clubs too as well. And it was he was he was good. And so I mean, that's how my son actually went to boarding school.
Hmm.
You understand? He went to boarding school on a scholarship. I mean, we had to pay something, but we didn't have to pay all of it. So that just goes to show you, Tommy, that
What you put in is what you take out.
yeah. Tommy, I wanted to try something tonight. I wanted to try calling Mrs. Kamla Prasad Besessa. What do you think?
I don't know. Give it a shot.
Let me give it a shot. I want to talk about the sheep statement.
Yeah, that seemed to be trending now in Trinidad.
Yeah, that's trending. And
But I stopped and I said we've been talking about the sheep mental, the herd mentality,
mhm,
and about a group of lions led by a sheep and so on and so forth.
yeah,
And suddenly that's sheep talk is big talk now.
okay. Call failed. Let me try. I think my mic is a little too low. Let me try Ruston Parry. You know, he's ticketed to be the next political leader, right?
No, he is.
Yeah. That's the talk on the ground.
He's the understudy.
Yeah, he's the next political leader. Let's see.
Harry.
Okay, okay, Tommy boy. All right.
Oh for 2.
Boy, we ain't batting like we used to before, boy, Tommy.
Oh,
You know, uh, all right, let me say this before I give his love comment. Caribbean Soul says in the 2015 budget allocation was 65 billion $665 million. In 2022, the budget allocation was 57 billion $685 million. So tell me how the hell 3 days of money came about when in 2015 the budget was higher than in 2023. Oh, you know what? Let me try this guy again. Um, Joala. Yeah, we have tried him before. Because that question, what he just asked, is what I wanted to ask to myself. Joala, Jwala.
Rambarat.
Yeah, Joala Rambaran. Joala, Wala. Alright, I think maybe I have to try him regular. Okay, how that number ain't showing up, boy. I know I have his number. Alright, here we go. Alright. So yeah, we trying Joala Rambaran.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hello, Mr. Joala Rambaran. We are calling you from WZYE 95.9 FM in New York and New Jersey. Can you give us a call back when you get this message, please? Thank you very kindly. Bye bye. So the reason why I say that, right? Caribbean Soul, so the hell 3 days money came about when in 2015 the budget was higher than in 2023. So we're trying to find that out. Now, Tommy, Lions Love says, Lions Love welcome. We
Welcome,
must
Lion.
all boycott KFC for their blatant racist disrespect of the Indian community. I wanna I've been very careful with that story. And let me show you why, Tommy. Right? I want to show you something. Um Tom, you know about that story, right?
Somewhat.
Okay, so let me apprise you of what it is. It's a story of a young man by the name of Alex, based on what is in the public space. A guy named of Alex Mote, and his family is supposed to be the franchise owner of Kentucky Fried Chicken in Trinidad. And he had made some comments regarding doubles and roti, right? But but I did a little. Sometimes you cannot take all these things at face value. So this is what I did, right? I I went to Facebook that we have up on the screen here, and I got his Facebook page. You see that, right? This is his Facebook page.
Mhm.
Supposedly, huh? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the guy. His name is Alex Mute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I was kind of concerned about. It appears to me that now I'm saying it appears that this page seemed to be a fake Facebook page, and here is why. Right? There's a post to the top 20 richest people. A post 10 hours before, something about talking about racist Balize house, right? A post about Julia Davy and someone else, right? But the thing that kind of shocked me is that there is not a whole significant amount of posts on the page, right? February 7th, February 10th. Then the last post before that was October the 25th. You seen that, right?
Yeah.
This, then there was one that says this content is not available. And it appears to me that maybe the statement that was made on this page, somehow they took it down. Right? So I I I think a guy of this caliber, Tommy, will have more than 8 friends on Facebook.
Not only that, you would have more activity too.
He will have more activity as well. Yeah. So and that's where it's stopping. It stopped on October the 7th. There's nothing else. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I hear the talk about the statement that he made, and there were a lot of opinions about it. But somehow, boy, somehow, somehow, and look at the photos, right? There's 3 photos, 3 of them, right? Look at the videos. There's no videos, right? Look at the likes. There's 4 pictures, and that is it. Cuban boy, A plus marketing, naked cafe, and the Balize juice. And that is our good friend Julia Davy. And that is it. That's it.
Some
So
seem
that
to-
something ain't right. Something is not right. And,
and,
and, and
and and people and these media houses have to have the ability to analyze data when it's brought to them to determine whether it seems credible or incredible.
and that's exactly the point, Tommy. The point is that when we see things and Philip Alexander responded to him, then we have I have a video there where another person responded to him. But I don't think people took the time in
To,
order to do
to
a little background search. Eh?
yeah.
Yeah, but Lions Love, I am not debating whether what he say is true or untrue. Okay, so Lions Love says family is worth $600 billion, but yet still he would attack a doubles vendor and a roti seller, disgusting people. And yes, the story is true. He did say it. Listen to Douglas Politics. So Lions Love, send us the link. Send us the link because I, I am just, I am not saying that he didn't say it, Tommy.
Right.
All I am saying,
All you're saying, it doesn't seem credible at this point.
it doesn't seem credible. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And Caribbean so say I'm not even gonna fight down KFC because KFC is still gonna prosper under the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, that's a point. In spite of all of that, people still gonna buy Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Mm-hmm.
right? Still gonna buy Kentucky Fried Chicken. So, what is the sense? You're fighting for something, right? And the people just gonna continue on their merry way.
As a matter of fact, you could be actually do them a favor by giving them free advertising.
Yeah, you know what they talk about publicity, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but I think I would like to see a little more information confirmed, because in these days, the way things are going, anybody could put up a Facebook page. You understand? And next thing, you write something and the people might not be you. So all I'm saying is that we have to take that under consideration. We have to take it under consideration. You know, and I mean I would like to look at the Douglas Politics page to see if he actually did Lions Love, did he come out and said that he made that post? Did he come out and say, Akira, welcome? Did he come out and say that? So folks, let's go for a quick station identification. It's In the Village with yours truly, Professor Ward Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE LP 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM. FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in New Jersey for talk, news, sports, and information from the Caribbean. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to In the Village on WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in New Jersey for talk, sports, news, and information from the Caribbean.
And Mr. Florida, hold on. We are back with you. It's In the Village with yours truly, Professor Ward Street and Uncle Tommy on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 10 p.m. TNT time and 6 to 9 p.m. USA time. Let's bring in our guest, Dr. Shane Mohammed with a new haircut. Mr. Florida, welcome.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Hanson, and good evening, Mr. Tommy. So, all this talk about with the KFC talk and all this that they're saying, right? It really don't mean anything because the food prices are going up and the whole of the Trinidad and Tobago complain, oh, we can't afford to buy food. But KFC prices always keep going up. No one gonna complain and they're still gonna buy it. KFC is a pleasure, it's a choice. And be it regardless if this guy is here or not. You see, the thing is, the parents are business oriented, they have business ethics. The younger generation who is going to overtake the business from the parents, a lot of them don't have ethics. A lot of them want to speak what they want to speak. So even if it's true, not KFC is a pleasure. You see, they would say certain things about unhygienic and all that. But if you really check it out, Mr. Ansman, Mr. Tommy, and Mr. Sheen, you're a brilliant guy. So if you really think about it, there's a lot of businesses that is selling food in Trinidad that is not being inspected regularly. I'm sure a lot of them is not up to par. I'm sure a lot of the KFC is not up to par. So people could say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, it's a person choice. You see, we can't be distracted by this KFC and all that. The thing is, we have to worry about, we have to bring back democracy, we have to get the crime under control, and we have to bring back the country to get back the ease of doing business and to get people out of poverty. That at the end of the story. All these distractions is just nonsense. So, Dr. Sheen, I'm going to look on and listen to you. He's a brilliant guy. And I hope you will join our party soon. Bring your knowledge to everyone. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. You man, the man already talk about the man bring out party and all kind of thing. Oh God.
I say nothing. I just sit down and I listen.
He said nothing yet, and the people already talking about the man bringing out party and all kind of thing. So Dr. Mohammed, welcome back. We know you had a busy time off, and time off is very good. But I just hit on that issue there that Mr. Florida talked about, and Mr. Florida his contribution is be always on point. His contribution is be on point, right? And we talked about the situation, Mean Gene Welcome, right? With respect to this KFC situation. And I am not saying whether the person made it or didn't make it. All I'm saying is that when I did a little investigation on the person's Facebook page, the Facebook page is very suspicious because I know for a fact that I have people who send me friend requests on Facebook page, and I look through to see if I see you only have 5 or 6 or 7 messages, right? I'm not friending you. I'm not accepting your request because to me it looked like a fake Facebook page. And I am just questioning whether this Facebook page is a real Facebook page, and if has he admitted that he made that post? If you know,
there's no admission, and I saw it was brought to my attention that it is there's speculation that the Facebook page, the profile, is not real. The thing about this is, and we have to be mindful of what I find is very important, and my response to someone who sent this to me is the comments made by the potential profile holder is dangerous and damning to the family name, the family reputation, and their brand. And therefore, the comments made is also outrageous as it pertains to the, how to put it, the diversity that we have abided by, and the harmony and diversity that which we've lived by over the years. And this is not the first time, or the second time, or the third time. This national labeling of the Syrian community was as 1%ers, was self-inflicted when Anthony Bourdain visited Trinidad and Tobago and was a guest at their dinner table. In light of that, it is very important for brand management in the business world, for reputational management, for that level, at that level, to be maintained to be managed properly. And if it is that the whole country, and outside of Trinidad and Tobago saw this comment and this post, and for all of yesterday, including myself, commentators would have made comments about it. And to this day, up at 8:10 p.m., there is no circulation by the family of any notice that, or any press release or anything of the sort to say that this did not come from the holder of the account and the profile, and this is not this didn't happen. This did not emanate from the family, any members of the family. This is a fake profile. Then something is very wrong, because any business conglomerate, any businessman out there whose name and reputation is sullied in any way or the other will want to do some level of communication, crisis management, control, and damage control, and nothing has been forthcoming. In fact, this comment provoked down to academics such as Dr. Indira Sajuan, who is an economist, to do a video on the contribution of the doubles vendors and the roti.
Yeah, we have it. We have it.
Right. Good. And while I was listening to her, and I commented on her post, the very same profile was commented under her, in her video, and it was a very disgusting post.
Right, I saw it. Dr. Mohammed, let's just take this call real quick. COP, welcome.
Good night to you, Wall Street. Good night. And good night to you, Uncle Tony. And Dr. Shane Mohammed. Good night to you. Good night to the listeners. I say good night to Mr. Doubles. You know, we partner changing name Wall Street. KFC don't want to be named KFC again. He say call him Doubles now with plenty pepper. So good night to the listeners. Wall Street, even though if that profile is a fake profile, them have the equipments to find if it's a fake profile. Them will know, and they will find the person who doing that. But otherwise, it raises questions and it bring conversation. And my view towards that, it sounds harsh, but I feel the community that is make roti and that is make doubles and these things, I think that it's time for them to broaden the horizon, because the Syrian community have food restaurants, fast food restaurants all over the country. Most of them is his own. And they have nice air-conditioned place where they can go in and sit down and eat comfortable. So they give the person who the purchasing power to come in and sit down and relax. I will ask the roti people and them who just make the roti and curry chicken and start to do those things, because we need those things. And don't just look at it as a condemnation. Broaden your horizon too and say, hey, because we make millions of dollars in this, in roti and doubles. Even when the US man come down over and went at the CARICOM heads, all of them come down, say they come and eat roti and doubles and enjoy themselves. Let them come now, and it's a fact that many junctions in Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes you go by a doubles cart, and when you watch the surroundings, we just had to say, well, look, the corporation don't pick up the garbage and them. But it's sad to know that because hygiene had to play a good part in this. Remember, it's food. And you can't be selling food. You get up, you pack your double things and you come out in the junction and you see the surroundings 10 feet away from you. It's a rubbish heap. And you still unpack your thing over there. But the citizens coming and buying it show the quality of citizens too we have. But we had to look at those things. And the doubles people and the roti people and them. All you had to look at those things too. And open nice curry chicken roti restaurant, duck roti restaurant. And had the people them coming in the same air conditioned place and nice quality seats and air conditions and let them sit down and eat comfortable. Not just in all the time in a little parlor place and these things. So that is what the Syrian community is speaking about. And it's time for the roti makers and the doubles makers. All they making millions and invest it in billions and things too. Although it hurt to hear how the Syrian community will come out and speak out so and we will classify and say, hey, them family, them is a $6 billion family. So what? So what if there's a $6 billion? How they get an opportunity? They get an opportunity from the citizens of this country, and the government give them the opportunity to get all those licenses and create all those business and things. They get an opportunity.
All right,
and even the doubles people have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Dr. Shane, I think there is so many moving parts here with respect to this statement, right? I mean, really and truly, you can ask the question, as you stated, why hasn't the Mute family come out and made a statement and saying, well, listen, and they could get an investigator to investigate whether that Facebook page is fake or not, right? They don't even have to worry about that.
But
Come out and
there's a cybercrime unit of the police service if we want to go down that route. And therefore, the cybercrime unit is there to investigate incidences like these. It's not just against criminal. It's not just criminal. Good evening, Nina. It's not just criminal. This is a blatant defamation, and this is maligning of a company and a family's name in the business sector. But we could go on and on about why and why and why. The fact of the matter is, at this point in time, nothing has been drafted and nothing has been released to say that it is not the individual, and it is not real, it is fake. And until something is forthcoming, it has left a bad taste in people's mouth. As it pertains to what COP is saying, we have to take into consideration that this country is not, as much as we don't like the way it is governed, we are also not a blatant banana republic. You can't just simply get a food badge just like that without proper documentation and proper provision of certain requirements that public health requires you to possess in your hand, right? In order to get a food badge. That's the first thing. So, and on top of that, there are, if you look around Port from St. James to San Fernando and beyond, there are roti shops that have turned into restaurants. Right here in Tunapuna, there's one called Wings. If we go into St. James and Port of Spain, there's Dobson's and the other ones. If you go down to South and to Central, there's Amin's, right? If you go to Curep, there's also Amin's that has that was just simply, the original Amin's family just simply made roti alone. And then that evolved into what it is now, right? We have to take into consideration the culture of roti and doubles in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, roti is, let's go with the roti first. Roti shops have evolved into restaurants. That's a fact, right? There are restaurants that are very air conditioned and the fancy chairs and all of that. And then there are the other roti shops that are roti shops and bars. That's one on the highway, right? It all depends, it all caters to whether you wanted bouge, whether you wanted country-like, whether you wanted home cooked. It caters for the cross section of the society that for what their preference is. But on top of that, A doubles man cannot go and set up a doubles man, right? A doubles man that cannot go and set up a double shed with and not have certain requirements. One of the requirements is that he must have a place where people can wash their hands and running water. That is a must, right? It must have certain requirements where there's proper garbage disposal and all of those sanitary different sanitation requirements from public health. So we have to be very careful about how we say it, because at the end of the day, this is I mean, I don't, as Caribbeans will rightfully say, nobody does want to go and sit down and eat a doubles, you know. The whole idea of a doubles, the whole idea of doubles is to stand up and eat the doubles. That's
You know,
our culture.
you know something though? Serious, eh? When I was in Trinidad in 2021 or something, right? And I don't on Independence Square and where were Henry Street or Charlotte Street, one of them. That's how the doubles people in the Sunday. And I see some people sitting down and eating doubles. I said to my partner, I bet you them people not from Trinidad. He said, "Oh, you know that?" I went to one. I went to one ask the people. I said, "Excuse me, are you guys local or you foreign?" They say, "Why you ask?" No, I said, "Just asking." They say, "We from Canada." I said, "Well, let me tell you why. Yeah? Trinidadians do not sit down. Trinidadians normally do not sit down and eat doubles. You understand? You stand up and not only that, but in my estimation, there's also an economic part of it too. Because if you are a person selling on the street, you don't have no overhead where you have to pay rent, you have to pay light bill, you have to pay gas bill. So you telling yourself that.
But nobody's seeing that is at the front. That is that is at the end of the product, the producing of the product, right? But nobody is understanding. I have had the opportunity to see what it looks like when people are making these doubles. And making doubles is a process that it requires employing people to mix the chana, to prepare the chana, to season the chana, to cook the chana, to make the bara, to prepare the bara before it to knead the flour. It is a process. So there's employment in the back room. If you go down to Derby, you get a chance to see it firsthand, where people, how many people are in one of those double sheds that is contributing to the entire process, right? So it's a source of energy of employment as well. We just don't see it. For all sense and purposes, the owners don't always be the owners of the doubles. For example, let me use Prasad's doubles in Princetown, right? Or Ali's doubles that originated from Princetown. The owners of Prasad doubles and Ali doubles, right? They are not the ones that are selling the doubles. Doubles has become a franchise now, right? We have to also take it. I went to Toronto. I was in Toronto in 2023, and I wanted to experience doubles in Canada, right? And when my cousin took me to the double spot, it was a one-stop shop. So it had roti, it had doubles, it had all the different delicacies, right? It didn't have a place for me to sit down Wall Street. There was a counter, a lady behind it. You tell she what you want, or you call in and say what you want, and when you reach, you pick up your order and you walk out. So even if I wanted to sit down and eat the roti, the people place, there was no way for me to sit to eat the roti. I am saying all of that to come back down to it is a cultural thing. No, but and as Caribbeans will saying it again, doubles is an eat and go. You're on the road, you're busy, you need something quick to eat because you're heading from one meter to the next. You pick up you eat a doubles, right? So we have to understand that as well, that doubles is local, it is culturally owned by the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Roti as it is owned by the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, it is something that is indigenous to us. We have to take into consideration that KFC is not. KFC is a franchise that, as he rightfully said as well, has boosted over the years because of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yep.
And I am sorry to say, though, that I am not a KFC lover. I would give me Royal Castle over KFC anytime, right? So we have to understand that whether the statement emanated from the individual, whether it was real or not, there was a clear intention
Hold on.
You're agreeing with the statement.
KFC.
My name is not KFC again, man.
What
call
is
me
now?
doubles now? Fireball KFC.
All right, doubles. Doubles.
Yeah, doubles
Welcome.
and roti. That big million. He disrespect where we came from.
Hey, Dr. Mohammed, this is the fella who changed
we like it hot off the press.
Wait. Doubles. Hold a minute. His name used to be KFC. Due to this thing now, he changed his name to Doubles.
I wish there were more people like him.
I not advertising for that big franchise that game, man. They're too wicked, man.
So it's Doubles from now on.
Yeah.
Slide pepper.
Come doubles roti, anything in there.
Slide pepper.
Yeah. But what should we think about that statement, that big millionaire?
But no,
that disrespect, you know.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I am saying is that the statement, if was made by him, right? His family should come out and apologize to the people of Trinidad and Tobago for that statement. If that statement was made by him. But I am just in my analytical mind and just doing a little inquiring behind the scenes. Where it came from seemed like a fake Facebook profile. So I'm just questioning whether that individual is the one who actually said it based on the Facebook page. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I was thinking on Robert last night, and Robert said like he shared it.
He shared the post.
Yeah.
But the person can
But
share that.
There's nobody that has not shared the post, right?
Right.
And from the posting of that initial from the posting of that content.
Hold on, Dr. Shin. KFC, listen off here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
From the posting of that from then to now, there's been silence, birds chirping. Right? There are people who have come out and they've, for example, did you see the post from Chief Brand Products?
No.
And that is when I realized we took it to our next level and we got very serious in this country. So I got up this morning actually it wasn't this morning, it was late last night, actually. Late last night into this morning, Chief Brand Products, as in the company Chief Brand, posted a packet of Chief Brand chicken seasoning. And they said, forget about they didn't say forget about KFC. They said, make your own fried chicken at home. This is the seasoning that is required. So when it gets to the point where another conglomerate, an academics, politicians have commented on something, the whole country is up in arms about the content. And there's silence on the part of the name, the family brand, and the family name. Something is wrong somewhere. And I will not go on the premise that it is fake. It is fake. It is not fake until it is fake.
No, and listen, the only thing I did is that I was just concerned that there could be the possibility. Let's take this call. Yeah, Mr. Florida, welcome. Mr. Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, good evening again, Mr. Tommy, Mr. Hanson, and Mr. Shade. So remember when the Ramsaran girl made her post?
Yes.
And it had a big uproar.
But she admitted it early.
And then
she admitted it early.
Right. So but the family did have to apologize.
Correct.
So I understand the point Mr. Shane is saying. Even if the post and even if it's from a fake account or whatsoever, the fact of the matter is that being a prominent businessman in Trinidad and Tobago, having a franchise across the world in Trinidad, you need to at least, he has to come out and say something. Because in business, you are not too big to lose your license. Because KFC around the world, they don't deal with racism. Just like all other companies, they deal with that strict. So he shouldn't wait 24 hours. He should have immediately came out and say a statement, or the son, whoever the son is, if that is the son, he should have come out and say a statement. So I look on and listen.
But Shane, let me ask you a question. Is the son responsible? Is the parent responsible for their son's action in this situation?
Yes, the Ramstorm family was very much responsible for the actions of their daughter.
Okay.
It's not one law for the other, and the precedent has already been set.
Okay. No, but at that point is well taken, because you can say silence is consent, right?
Correct. Exactly, and that was my next point, right? That's the next thing. So, it has been said. This is boo boo number 2 or 3. The first one is it was the 1% statement that went international, and this one is another. It is semi-international because it is the KFC brand.
But you know something there. Let me say this. If something like that had happened in the United States of America, every not just one, almost every state in this country would have had people in front of KFC, even though the franchise might have been owned by someone else or anybody. All they know is KFC. People would have been front KFC, marching left, right, and center.
Agreed.
But I don't understand. Yeah, I mean,
that is why I said this morning. This is why when I got up this morning and I went on to social media. I said, we will now see whether or not there are long lines in KFC. And if there are long lines in KFC, it will tell us what level, if Trinis have a spine or not. Because let me tell you something. This is the same. This is very much, and people say, but what does this have to do with politics, right? This is no different from politics. In fact, there's something called political sociology, and this is very much linked to political sociologists under political sociology and political science under the umbrella of race relations, right? Race and class relations. And we are quickly living in a country, and we've evolved into living in a country where there are elements of classism over racism taking place, right? And we have to understand that his justification for making the statement, right, is because some Indian man somewhere made some comment about the profits that KFC made for 2023, and some comment about raising their prices or what. At the end of the day, the means does not justify the end. And whether or not somebody made a comment, this is a country where free speech is very much part of our constitution, and our liberty and freedom is very much part of our constitutional rights. If a man did not defame you, if a man did not malign you, if someone made a comment, which we are entitled to comment about something that they may not have liked, then it does not mean that you retaliate by making disparaging remarks against an entire and this does not touch on as Florida and Caribbean Soul and everybody else is saying. This is not about the Indians versus the Syrians, because doubles is not seen as an Indian thing. Roti is not seen as an Indian thing. We've gone past that. Doubles and roti is Trinidad and Tobago. Full stop. The same way crab and dumpling is Trinidad and Tobago. Bacon shark is Trinidad and Tobago. That is who we are. That is ours. That is what we identify. That is what we look forward to in effect. I mean, we look forward to it in everything. A wedding, a funeral, a after party, you name it, right? So come on, man. This is a blatant insult to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And at the end of the day, it is also linked. If you continue to buy your KFC, and KFC is your food of choice, that is also your business. It is also your business whether you choose to vote for PNM or vote for UNC. But do not expect to vote for PNM and vote for UNC and buy KFC, right? And expect a different result. Because the same way KFC has raised the price from it. I remember the days when a three piece used to be $21 and $17 and $18 in this country, which is now $51 for a 3-piece, when you could take that same $51 and go and buy two whole chicken for $25 in a grocery, and that will give you a meal for at least 4 days, depending on your household.
But you know, Shane, you said something that you kind of glossed over it. Classism versus racism in Trinidad and Tobago. I want you to expand on that a little bit, because I think, sometimes we kind of mix up the two, in Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, for example, in this country, we know about racism. We know, because, for example, when I go out my front door, or any one of my kids or my wife or my daughter go out the front door, and they get into their car, and they come out the garage and they get on the street, they immediately could face racism because of the kind of car they drive in, and somebody, like we had racial profiling here in New Jersey, all up and down the New Jersey Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway. And you weren't being stopped because you were speeding. You were stopped because of your color, right? I wanted to expand a little bit about talking about this classism and racism in Trinidad and Tobago. Classism versus racism.
So racism is very much, it is what it is, right? Racism is an attack on a particular race, right? A particular creed. It is why America and other nations across the board are very, very, they're very much against the use of certain words that describe Black people and colored people, right? We have to take into consideration that the history, and then the political history that succeeded it, very much pivoted the white and the Caucasians against the Blacks and everybody who was of a different shade of brown, into one category, which is what we're talking about is racism, right? What you're talking about in terms of racial profiling is racism, right? Where you discriminate against somebody because of their color of their skin and the texture of their hair and their background. Classism is where you are discriminating against people because of their background, where they come from, in terms of the money that their social standing, then in terms of their financial means. So in Trinidad and Tobago, we've known there's this dialogue in finance and among economists, where we are quickly becoming a country of the haves and have-nots, and therefore it's either you have or you don't have. It is no longer a maybe you have something, which is what we call the middle class, right? So this classism that I'm talking about is the rich whites, the high-colored members of society, speaking about the lower classes of persons, even within their same race, not just outside of their race, but within their same race. So you have within the quote unquote 1%, there are certain levels, and they look down at them depending on their social standing and their earning capacity and their net worth. It's the same thing. You are looked down upon because you come from Debe, you come from Laventille, you come from Arima, you come from Shogunas, you come from La Hoqueta. And there's this belief that because you come from that social class, you are not worthy to become an entrepreneur and earn billions and own a franchise or establish a chain of restaurants and all of that. So you are classed in a particular way. And therefore, a comment is made, and the comment or a statement is made, but it is not made towards people's race or their religion, but it is their social standing in society.
But Shane, go ahead, Tommy.
Dr. Shane, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, bigotry versus racism. You care to elaborate on that?
But Tommy, can I expand on that, Tommy? Can I add prejudice in there, Tommy?
Okay.
Bigotry. Okay, so let's go to bigotry, right? And I like to go with the academic things first before we break it down. It is the unreasonable attachment to a belief or an opinion about somebody, right? That's what bigotry is. So it does not a bigot is not somebody who is necessarily, you can tie as you rightfully say, you could tie it as a to racism. You could also tie it to classism. The fact of the matter is, an individual has formed an opinion based on an experience, based on an observation, based on their own ignorance about an individual or individuals. And as a result of that, they've taken a position that those people belong in a particular place, and therefore they should not grow, they should not develop, they do not need a space in society. That's a bigot. You could extend that bigotry to races and to classes of people, and that is why, unfortunately, that is why your potential Republican candidate has over the years acquired that title.
Yeah, because there was this belief that you cannot be a racist unless you operate from from a position of power and authority.
No, that's not true. You can be a racist without power and authority. You can be a racist based on your own experiences. You can be a racist based on your own interactions or lack thereof. You could be a racist. You could be a bigot based on the same thing. You could simply see somebody, watch somebody, and because you don't like how they're dressed or they're not dressed to what you're accustomed to, you put them in a particular category and you say, no, he can't be employed in my firm, or he cannot be or she cannot be employed in my office.
But I don't think that's racism, though. I don't think that's racism.
That's not racism. No, that's not racism. That's bigotry.
Okay. Because in my estimation, all right. So for example, it was what it says, right? Bigotry is the state of mind or behavior of a bigot who is someone who intolerantly devoted to their own opinions and prejudices. You see, prejudices is in there. Bigotry can lead to discrimination, hatred, and violence against people who have different beliefs or way of life. Bigotry is often based on factors such as race, religion, gender, sexuality, or nationality. And then they gave some example: racial bigotry, religious bigotry, gender bigotry, sexual bigotry, and national bigotry. And I want to say this. In my estimation, in Trinidad and Tobago, many people don't face what's called racism.
True.
There's prejudice.
And
there is a lot of prejudice in Trinidad and Tobago. So when I hear people saying, oh, that Indian person is racist, or this black person is racist, they don't understand what racism means. When you live in America, when you live in this country, you have a full understanding of what racism includes. For example, and I'm going to give this story. I worked at the New York Stock Exchange for 23 years. And I was told this. They say, boy, Anselm, you know, if you was white, you might have been on top of the building, you know. And I'm like, what do you mean? Even if I was white, I'm like, I'm coming to work, working hard, yeah, getting promotions and things, you know, and I doing my work, right? Me looking and see whether this guy's pink, blue, yellow, whatever it is. But that is what, and when you leave the job and you're going on your way home and you jump in your car, it's ain't done, you know. So when I hear the people of Trinidad and Tobago talk about this one is racist and this one is racist, I wonder if them really deal with racism. And listen to the story here, Dr. Shane. A guy he lived in South Orange, a black guy. His house was worth $1 million. And he's moving out of his house because he said he can't deal with the racism. Right? So he moved in. Other people around them, their houses are $1 million too. And he thinks that when you move into a neighborhood with $1 million house, and people go look at your $1 million house, and all of a sudden, right, their racist ways gonna change. No, it ain't gonna change. It's not going to change. As a matter of fact, they want you out of there. They don't want you in there because you have to go to school with their kids now. You know, so I think in Trinidad we have. I'm saying there's a lot of prejudice going on, but I don't know about the racism part.
No,
Yeah,
I don't. You see,
that's why I brought up the topic bigotry versus racism, because I'm aware of what racism is, and I in my humble opinion, Trinidad don't have a racism problem. What you have is a bunch of bigotry and prejudicial thinking, and a lot of bigots.
you also have a lot of dancers.
That too. That too.
I mean, I would not. You know me. I don't put water in my mouth for that. And I've come to, somebody. My father had to tell me the other day. He said, over the years, you've developed the reputation for being somebody who's very down to it. I said that has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with me not being down to it. The fact of the matter is that we have a lot of people who are on radio and television.
Oh
And
boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Here we go. He's going there. He's going there.
there are a lot of people who are on radio and television and who have been given opportunities and spaces to speak, when in truth and in fact they are just simply there preaching a lot of misinformation. They are ill-advised, they lack knowledge, right? They lack understanding of simple things, right? They have been given a platform to speak because they're mouth big, right? And that is what our society has become. So in other words, we have a lot of misinformed bacchanalists that are taking the airways by storm, taking social media by storm, but they're not going to sit down and do the research to understand what is racism, what is classism. So that when Mohammed comes and he says, well, this is not racism. This is a discussion on the disparity on against classes and classism, and then we are talking about bigotry. They will be like, they need to go back to more than a Collins dictionary to understand what is the difference between classism, racism, and bigotry. And that is why I said, as well, they will not understand the discussion that we are having in terms of, well, bigotry can also be tied to racism, classism, gender, religion, as Anthony rightfully said. So you see, the problem with Trinidad and Tobago, and more so Trinidad than Tobago, because I don't care what people say, I like Tobago, right? We in Trinidad have given people the opportunity to prove that they are dancers, and then they have rightfully done so. But when they've proven themselves to be complete educated, I mean, they should be certified dancers, I should say, not educated, certified dancers, right? And they are carriers of misinformation and malinformation and lack of knowledge. We don't take them off of the airwaves because we fear to. We think, well, oh God, this man throwing money. We're not seeing that content. And at this stage of the game, content is where content creation and people are content creators. There are many young people who don't want to go for the normal jobs. They want to go for those contemporary jobs. I would like to put it in that category, right? So when you ask somebody what they are, well, I want to be a content creator, and you ask them, well, what is a content creator? They can't give you the description of a content creator, right? But your content must be able, when you are a content creator, the definition of content creation for in the entrepreneurial and business world is that your content must be able to do certain things: uplift, empower, and enhance people's knowledge and their ability and understanding to better themselves. And if your content is not doing that and providing a positive outcome to people, then you're an idiot. You're not a content creator. It's the same applies to the people who have platforms that they are using to just blah blah them out and talk, rara all the time, but there's no depth to what they're saying. So there's another thing that we're talking about. When I talk to my students and when I'm talking to the, the, the general public of Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension outside, Let us have conversations of depth. And that is what I think we are lacking in this country. Conversations of depth, because people are not informed enough to have conversations of a certain level, of a certain depth, so that they can effectively have a debate with each other or have a discussion with each other. So that is why it is so easy to say, you're dotage, you're stupid, you're racist, you're PNM, you're UNC, you're this, you're that, you're the other. But they don't realize that much of our society, if you look at what CNC3 asked yesterday, what people thought about the state of our politics today. And much of the people that they interviewed across Port of Spain said they are fed up of both the UNC and the PNM, and it's time for a new person, and they're looking forward to a new person arising and a third party forming, right? And I am saying that they may want it, they may say it, but are they ready for it?
No, they don't want it. They don't want it.
See, what has happened is that we find media is supposed to do a certain thing, which is elevate the citizenry, and it has failed miserably in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know about Tobago, more Trinidad, so to speak. It has failed miserably by polarizing and deepening the divide.
Correct. That's a good phrase. That's the phrase right there. And there's a reason for divide and conquer. That's a Machiavellian thing, right? And what the people fail to realize, it comes naturally. Divide and conquer is the one way to keep the status quo.
Go ahead, caller. Mr. Florida, go ahead. Shane, you have a
Hey,
question.
good evening again, Mr. Shane, Mr. Answer, and Mr. Tommy. So, Mr. Shane, I enjoy the conversation, right? But do you think our biggest problem in Trinidad and Tobago, besides everything, is institutional racism?
That's a very good question.
All right.
It's a very, very, very good question.
All right, thank you very much.
And it's a very multifaceted question. So let me start by saying that, let me go back to our politics. A lot of people doesn't know that if they go back into the politics of Trinidad and Tobago prior to independence, the man that was championing our independence was Rujonat Capeleo. And he was the one that went to Marlborough House. The problem with Rujonat Capeleo is that he was torn between an academic and a politician. And that is how he ended up getting the title of being the absentee opposition leader. And that is how he eventually was removed as opposition. He stepped down from opposition leader and gave way to someone else. Institutional, so there, and when he had the opportunity to become Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, he was really torn between being an academic or being leader of the country. And therefore, Dr. Eric Williams wanted it more, and wanted it more than he wanted it for himself. So we go back to the history and come back to today. There is a belief that the UNC can never be led by anybody but an Indian. But really and truth and in fact is the UNC was led by a black man. Whether we like it or not, I can tell you the UNC was led, managed very well by a black man. His name is Jack Warner. And under the management and leadership of Jack Warner, the government of Trinidad and Tobago at the time held very strongly together. Upon the departure of Jack Warner, what happened? The government collapsed. And it led to the downfall of the administration. A very good government. It obviously had its ills, and there were its miscreants as that were part of the administration. But as a whole, there were good men in there. So it's not that it is impossible for the government, for the UNC to be led by a black man. It was. At the same time, let us never forget that Errol Mohammed and Kamaluddin Mohammed were very much leaders of the PNM. Yeah. And not because they were not political leaders, doesn't mean that they were not leaders of the PNM. Right? Do not forget that it is the PNM that made Dr. Linda Babulal the first female president of the Senate. So when you tell me about the institutional racism, it comes from a few who have a belief system that the UNC can only be led by an Indian and the PNM could only be led by a black man. Or that is not true. It is not impossible to happen. The question is, where are those persons now? The same way, one, Indians have a culture, and even the Indians in India, the Indians in America, and the Indians in Canada will tell you, go back and look at the history, go and read Nikki Haley's biography, and for those who just want an easy one to understand, that the Indian culture across the board, regardless of where they are, in the length and breadth of the whole world, want their children to be lawyers, doctors, and engineers, businessmen. And if you are not that, their parents are not happy. So over the years, what you found people going into the oil field and you found people going into the public service were not Indians, because they were headstrong about the culture of becoming a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, maybe a businessman. Right? As the years went on, that changed. Under Pandey, he opened up the public service and he said, come in. If you look at the public service today, a lot of the top brass of the public service is very mixed now. So I will say institutional racism at the political level has diminished. The belief systems have diminished. Is there the Black caucus within the PNM? Obviously. Is there an Indian caucus, a cabal within the UNC? Obviously. Is there one within the PNM? Of course. Is there one within the UNC? Most definitely. The problem is this. For how long will we, Trinidad and Tobago, continue to believe the politicians who say that racism is a big issue in Trinidad and Tobago? You think if I don't go knocking on the PNM's door, they will come here. You see, you're an Indian or you're a coolie, you don't belong here. No. That is not that does not exist. That will never happen.
That's why I'm saying that the two things that is going on is ignorance and bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
So Tommy,
and dunciness.
well, but a politician by being a little.
Yeah.
No. You see, let me tell you something. There are those who will listen to us and don't know what the word bigotry is, and do not understand classism, and and they will take racism and run up the hill with it. Not understand what they're talking about, right? And we have to tell some people that they're just full of misinformation and lack of knowledge and lack of understanding, and they lack the depth that is required to be let me get you right word.
To be
positive, to be progressive influencers on the society.
Or a person who is disseminating information. Persons
that will inform and better somebody's thinking and mindset.
Correct. So here's institutional racism, right? Because we like to inform the people. Institutional racism, also known as systematic racism, is defined as policies and practice that exist throughout a whole society or organization that results in and support a continued unfair advantage to some people and unfair or harmful treatment of others based on race or ethnic group. It manifests as discrimination in areas such as criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, education, and political representation. Institutional racism is often less overt and more subtle than individual racism, but it is equally harmful and unjust. Institutional racism can create and maintain racial inequities and oppression, even when people who uphold the institutions are not personally racist. Therefore, it is important to challenge institutional racism and promote racial justice and equity in all aspects of society. So we just wanted to give you people a little understanding of institutional racism. So we're going to go for a quick break.
It is not to say that it has not existed, eh? It
No, no,
has
no, no.
existed.
It exists. It exists. I mean, we understand in this country, we understand institutional racism.
And institutional racism has not been across the board. It has happened. It has been done by certain people in strategic positions, right?
So let's go for this quick break. Of course, it's in the village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street. We have with us tonight Dr. Shane, Mohammed, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. We're going to go for a quick station identification. Don't go nowhere. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this short message.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in New Jersey for talk, news, sports, and information from the Caribbean. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to In the Village on WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in New Jersey for talk, sports, news, and information from the Caribbean. WZYE.
We are back with you. It's In the Village with yours truly, Professor Warshid and Uncle Tommy and you. Our guest tonight, well, no stranger to In the Village is no other than Dr. Shane Mohammed. And of course, folks, you can always join us on WZYE TV on Facebook, 95.9 FM, WZYE 95.9 FM on Facebook, WZYE TV on YouTube. And you can also get us on Instagram as well at WZYE TV. You can reach us there at 973-868-1444. That's 973-868-1444. Or 973-609-6509. That's 973-609-6509. And those are WhatsApp calls only. So that was a subject dealing with but you know something, Dr. Shane? I did a little bit of research here, and between 2010 and 2015, and we're not going to stay on this long, you know, there was some positive things that happened for Black people in Trinidad under the UNC.
You see, I would not even say Black people.
I wanted to be, the reason why I wanted to be specific, because when I compare some of the things that happened under them and some of the things that happen under the current PNM, you will think that the PNM, where 70 to 80% of Black people in Trinidad vote for the PNM, you think that Black people will be in a better socio-economic position under the PNM than under the UNC.
Well, no, because you have to understand. Now, there are people who will say, yeah, well, this is a two-edged sword. There are people who will say that is true. There are UNC supporters who will say that is true and that Black people benefited more than Indian people in Trinidad and Tobago under Cameron.
No. Be careful now. I didn't compare the both. I compare UNC, Blacks under UNC in certain things to Blacks under the PNM in certain things. Like, for example.
Same thing.
Well,
there are people who will say it is so, that did happen. And then there are those of us who will say, well, there is a belief system by members of the UNC now that they can convert a traditional PNM voter to vote for the UNC, right? And then there are those, but the PNM does not believe that they can ever convert a traditional UNC voter to vote for the PNF, right? So you have to take into consideration the mindsets that exist within the two political systems in order to come back to what you are saying. But Kamla Prasad-Bisesa made living value for money. She was very, very much concerned about ensuring that people's pockets were not empty at the end of the month because of an influx of taxes, inflation, high food prices, right? And that sort of thing. That is the reason why they came out, they removed VAT from from the majority of basic food items, 700 plus, or I think it's 700, 7,000, whatever the case may be. But a number of food items did not have VAT on it because there was a need to ensure that people had food on their tables. That's one. And then there's this man in this administration by the name of Terence Dunsing. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
What's his name?
Terence Dunsing.
Terence
Dunsing.
Okay.
Who is pushing, who is speaking about healthy living and lifestyles and the need for us to adhere to healthy living by what we eat, he is talking about the amount of sugars that we consume in soft drink and juices and, fast food and all of those things. But he's saying that in one breath, in the last 9 years, has not come out with a proper policy framework as it pertains to how do we reduce NCDs in Trinidad and Tobago, and how do we promote healthy living and lifestyles if you have VAT and high food prices on foods that are aligned to healthy living. So for example, this administration with this Minister of Health, which is promoting healthy living and lifestyle, is talking but is not acting. So because I prefer to eat quinoa over rice and pita bread over roti, I am categorized as being in a different, again, classism, categorized to living at a certain standard of living that is higher than the regular citizen. That is not true. If you want to promote heavy living and heavy lifestyles among the society, then I have a question. Why is it that foods that are considered good for healthy living and healthy lifestyles are so expensive? And that was a legitimate question that was brought up. That was raised a couple of weeks ago on social media. So you see, we must when we make policies must not be lopsided, and the policies must come with that word again coming, depth, that it must be a holistic approach to ensure that the whole of the society is benefiting from your policy, right? And Nina, they were not bullies. Those men were not bullies. Those men were enabled by Kamla Prasad-Bisesa. And when you're a leader, you have to be able, you either know how to manage a cabal or you have no cabal at all. And if you want a cabal, and I said this on the show before, I will say it again, an inner circle by a leader, any leader in the government or in a political party, is not alien and not unique to Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, if you look at the persons that are being considered to replace Mitch McConnell in the Senate as Senate Majority Leader come November, They are all very close allies. What is that? That's a cabal. It just wouldn't be said. There are certain persons within all administrations, Thatcher's administration, Merkel's administration, Mer's administration, you name it, that are key to who you will sit down and call and say, listen, I want to implement this policy. What are your thoughts before I bring it to the cabinet? Or before I talk to all the other ministers about it. What you think? It is how you manage those people and manage yourself so that you are not manipulated and you are not blackmailed, politically blackmailed into weaving a web that you can't come out of. That web that has been weaved since then, to this day, Kamala Prasad says I cannot come out of it. And that is why she's considered a failed leader.
You know, when we look at the politics in Trinidad and Tobago, but I wanted to go back to something, right? It just appears to me, Dr. Mohammed, that even the politicians, there is no line. There is no line. You know, it's like, listen, all right, here's the line. You can't cross that line. We have radio hosts in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, we had a radio host here. His name was Imus. Imus in the morning. Big shock jack. Big, 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 big. Tom, you remember him?
Of course.
Imus in the morning. Big shock jack. Shock jock. He said one thing about the Rutgers women basketball team. And he was fired from his job. Fired. He was the biggest thing in the United States of America. Big. Because there's a line you cannot cross. In my estimation, in radio in Trinidad, there's no line. None. None. So people can disrespect anybody. They can call people all kind of name. They could drag your name through the mud. They could, anything. Anything goes. Anything goes. And that is sad. That is sad. Because, you know, and the thing about it is that you have people coming on air totally misleading the people. Just throwing information up on the wall and see what goes stick. But you know, Dr. Mohammed, we started a revolution in Trinidad of fact-checking. We started, them fellas know, boy, you better be careful what you're saying, you know, because them fella go fact-check you. As a matter of fact, I have a fact-check for a fella this morning on the radio station. It is just, Dr. Mohammed, we have a fella on radio, we just fact-check him often. Right? What was the last one he said, boy? Tommy, remember the last one we played? I want to go look for it. You remember the last one? Tommy, remember the one with the Apache? He talked about the Apache from 1948.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. I am not familiar.
It is unbelievable. It's like, is there something called, what they call? Is it called not cut? What is the radio station? Like
MAT.
we have the FCC.
MAT, the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago.
MAT, yes.
Or MAT? No, them just regulate what going on air or off air. Them just send people letters and things.
Yeah.
No, it's not them.
They're the association to ensure that freedom of press and that certain ethical practices are that are maintained and sustained among all media houses.
Okay. So you know, I know you was thinking, Dr. Mabi, would I get away and we will not ask you this question because we know this question is two of your favorite people, Gigi versus Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bissessa. What?
Listen.
But before you continue,
all right.
Do you believe that Mr. Warner can fix that?
No. No. I don't understand why he's even attempting to fix something like that.
You don't think he could fix that shit?
Can't fix it.
Why not? Why not?
Because it's very clear. Listen, it is no secret that Gary and I are friends. But it is also there's also TAT, sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
there's
hold on. It's
telecommunication service.
Tat. Somebody just tell me Tat. Yeah, Tat. Joel
yeah.
Sprang went to Tat.
That is the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right,
They all, so TAT is the ones that are regulatory.
Just should drop the first T in that and just name themselves ATT.
So TAT is the regulatory body. MAT is the association. They're supposed to be more or less MAT is the association to protect the interests of let me say this properly. MAT is to protect legitimate media personalities and journalists. That's what MAT is for, and to ensure that there's a certain level of training and development and that sort of thing according to their ethical practices in line with the Telecommunications Authority. But coming back to our friend,
wait. And TAT is supposed to regulate the people who are on air and the statements that they are making to make sure it follow whatever rules and regulations they have.
There are certain rules and regulations that must be followed and practiced.
Right, like we have the FCC. We can't use obscene language. We can't use certain language. Any kind of obscene language, they could come and they could shut you down. Because we are a legal FCC licensed radio station. We're not an underground radio station.
Right. So that comes from TAT. That license comes from TAT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
get back to the comment.
So your boy, I did speak to him prior, and I in giving him when he called and he asked. I mean, anybody could call me and ask me anything, right? Any advice, and I said no. You are going down a rabbit hole that is not, which in fact will lead you to nothing but a big scorpion at the end that will bite you. And he was adamant that and he was very much adamant that he had the remedy and the formula that would bring the UNC back up to notch. And Darren, if Kiroli calls the election now, I'm sorry to say the PNM will win. Because the UNC is very much divided, and the Gary is going to put up people in different seats, and it's going to be all a big mess, and you will have the UNC, the PNM sailing back into office. The thing about it is, the lady is very much, she's stuck in her own ways, and she's also, she has a certain beliefs that certain individuals, she has empowered certain individuals within the party system that when they speak, she takes their counsel. And in that regard, if they don't like you, it's like they're very much like they're no longer a political party, unfortunately. They're like a village council. They can put you out of the village, right? They will drive you out of the village. If they don't like it, they will drive you out of the village. So therefore, that is why fellas like Fuad and Basant and Bo and others have not returned, because there's no value in returning. If you don't appreciate a man that has an international reputation as Vasant Bharat and Dr. Bo Tiwari, who has been primary principal of the University of the West Indies, and who's a well-respected. Let me go back. If you didn't respect Winston Buchanan, then you're really and truly, you have no regard for other people after that, right? And the UNC is imploding as we speak, because on top of that, you come and you talk about Basil under the leadership of Mr. Pandey, everybody was like sheep. But under Basil Pandey, young people were called even before their age, were recognized for their contribution to the party, and before they even reached the age that was the age requirement to go into the Senate, they were called to go into the Senate more than once, right? So when she speaks about promoting young people within her party, That is not something that she started and that is new to the UNC. That happened under Pandey. There are many young people that got that started off their political careers under Pandey at very young ages, right? They chose after a while whether they were staying or not. But you can't want to talk about a man. We learn as Trinidad and Tobagonians, you don't bad talk the dead. Let me start there as a basic principle. 1. 2, Mr. Pandey's legacy is etched in our national history. And therefore, there's nobody that can say anything anymore at any point in time that can dispute that. And anybody will tell you that is why he was given one of the best state funerals in our history. And that is why he was given a send-off that of that level of eloquence and that is deserving of a statesman. So when you want to, and then today you're backtracking and talking about, oh, you love Pandey. Please give me a break.
Well, I was just going to read that comment for you. My comments about how some rank and file UNC members were previously treated as sheep were made many times before. They are not new comments. And she also said, opposition leader Kamala Prasad says she never mocked United Congress and founding father Basdeo Pandey, pointing out that he was her guru and she continues to love him.
But that's not true. That's not true. Mrs. Prasad says, if somebody is your guru, Anselm, and you are holding a position of power and in a position to honor your guru, would you not do it? Mrs. Prasad Bisasa had twice the opportunity to nominate Mr. Pandey for president, to sit down and have a conversation with Mr. Pandey and say, Mr. Pandey, we believe that you are deserving. Yes, we understand your call for constitutional reform and the need to change the presidency and all of that. But right now, we are not in a position, and we are not in a position to effect that change that you want. But we believe that you would be an excellent head of state, and therefore we would like to submit your name for consideration. But she didn't even have that conversation. In fact, on the way to inaugurating Kamuna, she was busy crying in the car, talking about how she made a mistake by not putting Pandey. That's a fact.
So, so any coalition, and you really didn't give us your answer about Gary and
the answer is no. The answer is the long and short of the answer is absolutely no. He's not going back.
Oh, Gary is not going back, or Kamala not
Gary is not going back. Gary is not going back, and there are people within Kamala's circle that doesn't want Gary in the US.
Dr. Mohammed, we have heard those type of things before, remember Gary was there before, he left and he come back. Jack was there, he get kicked out and he come back. So
you know why people are going back? Let me tell you why they're going back. They're going back because they don't see an alternative. They don't see an alternative, they do not see a unifier. Kamala is not a unifier. She's a divider. She's a divider within her own party. If she wasn't a divider within her own party, then the member of parliament from Ayara was not going to come out and say what he said blatantly, and without even, and he did not only just say it blatantly, he put his name and his picture to it too. And Darren, I'm telling you that after 9 years of Keith Rowley, you would have thought that the official opposition of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago would have gotten their house in order, would have done the necessary groundwork, it would have done its administrative work, and it would have done the political work that is needed to ready itself to take up government. But we may end up with a very corrupt government, my friend. More corrupt than any other administration in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, given the kind of and the caliber of persons that Kamala Prasad Bisasa wants within that administration.
So, Dr. Mohammed.
And at this stage of the game, we need young, bright, brilliant patriots. And I'm not making a plug for Michaela Pandey's patriotic.
Oh, man, you're taking it out of my mouth.
I'm not making a plug here at all. I am not a spokesperson for Miss Pandey.
Wait.
I'm not in any way aligned to the patriotic front, but it happens to be aligned to the word that I wanted to use. We need persons who will put country first and not themselves.
Oh, no, Dr. Mohammed. That wasn't a slip of the tongue, That was a sleight of hand. Because
a stroke of the pen.
I was just gonna ask you if that means that it's the end of any alliance between the Patriot Front and the UNC. You know, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. As
Mrs.
far as
Gandhi has said that she has made attempts to make, she's publicly said she's made attempts to speak with Mrs. Bisasa, and she's made attempts to sit down and get a meeting with Mrs. Bisasa within the last couple of months, and to no avail, and therefore she's going to not be running. She's going to be going into the general election on her own.
Let me ask you something, Dr. Mohammed.
Go ahead, Tommy.
We based on the information and that we have and what we have seen or experiences thus far, we know for sure that with a bunch of fragmented parties, that is going to be a sure win for the existing government. Do you believe that there's any way that we can unite all the other forces other, let's say the yellow is on their own as they are? Do you believe that there's any way that we can unite all the other forces into as one?
Obviously, there's always, let me tell you this, nothing is impossible. We have to understand what are people's goals and objectives for themselves. We also must be able to respect each other and respect ourselves enough to understand what are our limitations and what are our capabilities. This is going to sound bad, but again, plain talk, bad manners. The politics of old is no longer something that is relevant to the politics of the world. Look around, right? Nikki Haley said it 2 weeks ago that the America is in need of a new generational leader for the GOP, and it's either a choice between President Haley and President Harris. I believe strongly within my mind it is going to come down to President Harris sooner rather than later, rather than President Haley, because institutional racism, that very, very critical topic we spoke about, has been reignited in the United States of America by a man called Donald Trump. And that reigniting of that belief system that make America great again because America belongs to only one color of people is very much an institutional habit, institutional behavior that exists in the United States of America that was just waiting for somebody to scratch a match and light the fuse, and boom, right? Here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, there are people who are political parties that don't necessarily want to be prime minister. So we have to ask ourselves, what the COP said, the remnants of the COP said that they are going to be joining forces with Hope. But you want to be Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and don't understand simple protocol that if your name is not on an invitation list to a state funeral, you can't jump a fence. It is not, what example are you setting? It is not proper. It is not statesmanship. It's a disrespect and a complete embarrassment to the institution of a state funeral. It was not a party funeral, it was a state funeral. That is why the figurehead that spoke and the person that spoke and dominated that state funeral was who? Her Excellency the President. So are you saying to me, therefore, that you want to be Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and don't understand simple protocols of state? That's one.
But Dr. Mohammed, let's be honest though. If the individuals didn't get an invitation, when they showed up there, knowing that he was a former president of the Senate, and she was a former Minister of Finance. I believe, in my estimation, they should have accommodated them
You
because
can't accommodate somebody. You can't. No. You can't accommodate. Let me tell you why. You can't accommodate. There's no accommodation. There's no accommodation. There's one representative. There's one representative from the government that is liaising with the family of the person that is dead, that is then liaising with President's house. You can't, if your name is not on an established invitation list, you cannot be accommodated to a state funeral.
No. Is that the protocol?
That is the protocol. If your name is not on the list, that is why, understanding that Mr. Pandey was a people's man, there was no protocols, and it was an open funeral at the Show of Peace where he was being cremated. So everybody who did not have an invitation to the formal ceremony could have gone to the creek where it was an open invitation for John Public and everybody else who wanted to be there. That is, it is very simple.
I still think, in my estimation, I think that it appears to me to be victimization.
No, there's no victimization. There's no victimization. Let me tell you something. They were very, very close friends, very, very close friends of Mr. Pandey. Very, very, very close colleagues, persons who served with him, and people at the national executive level, there were very much people whose names were not on the invitation list. And that was the prerogative of the family to decide. Many names would have gone forward to Miss Pandey and her family. And it is for them to say yes or no. And you have to respect the family's wishes in that regard.
And Dr. Mohammed, I do. But in my estimation, I want to believe that those people's names didn't even go to the family.
Again, when you go down the list of the table of precedents, which I made sure and I got thereafter, the funeral, it is at the discretion of the family first. Recommendations to go. You cannot say that Mr. Warner was not a friend of Pandey. Mr. Warner was the financier of Pandey. At the end of the day, we also have to take into consideration there are certain foundation persons that were there with Pandey from the beginning that would have gotten invitation. No, that is not true. Jack was never a PNM.
You see, in my estimation, I believe that even though you weren't invited and you decided to show up, once the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is my estimation was liaising with the family, and he sees the former president of the Senate and the former minister, they could have made accommodation for them to sit up in the rafters. Let them go sit all the way up in the back.
They could have simply gone and sit in the tents if they wanted to. At the end of the day, a state funeral is a state funeral. There are certain protocols that must be adhered to, and there are certain practices that we cannot. I mean, a former minister called me and asked me. She said, "Shane, what is the protocol? What is the protocol with regard to this thing?" I said, "Listen to me. If your name is not on an invitation list and you did not receive a physical invitation in your hand, please stay home."
Let's take this call. Hey, Mr. Florida, welcome. Shane, you have another question?
Good evening again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Tommy and Mr. Shane again. So Mr. Shane, I understand what you're seeing, right? But let me analyze it in this way. Now, if I am a young person join in a political party, right? Now I am embedded in this party, right? And you say you need young people with integrity and who's honest, but the whole party wouldn't be embedded with young people. You must have old politicians in the party for the young ones to learn.
Of
Now,
course.
if there's certain corruption that is taking place, and I'm in the party, and I see what's going on, but I choose not to say anything because I am a part of the party. And sooner or later, I will get caught up with the same, because money change people, power change people. Not everyone handle money and power. So if we're looking for a party that is honest and integrity and all that, it's very hard to find. But you see, the problem in Trinidad and Tobago is one problem. We are not united, because if we were united and we had 600,000 people in front of the Red House and demand elections and show the politicians that we mean business and we want you to call election because we do not like how you're governing the country. Because our government could change every 5 years. But if our government is doing what they're supposed to do, that help the people, make cost of living easy, make easier doing business easier, some people don't really care that if they take a few dollars, because that's life. Because if I'm in an institute and I see, let me see for this one, I with Mr. Anselm, and I see Mr. Anselm stealing, but I am in an institution, but I just want to be there. And I know what is going on, I'm not saying nothing, then I have no integrity. I just close my eye and look the other way. So then I can never call myself to be with integrity. So look on and listen to hear what your response is.
All right, man. Thanks.
Listen, you are never going to get a perfect scenario, right? We don't live in the world of perfection. But at this stage of the game, we have a part. So somebody said to me yesterday in a comment, it's time to get 11 out of the 19 signatures of the opposition and oust Mrs. Prasad Bisesa from opposition leader and put someone new. And my reply was, choose who? Who would be the question. Choose one. And the response, well, then that's the next question, right? When you look at the Bahamas as an example, CNN did a profile 2 days ago on, and just a fact box on the Bahamas. 87% of the Bahamas economy is on imports. They import 80% of their stuff. 87%. 30% is, give or take 30% is financial services, the rest of which is tourism. But the records will show you that the Bahamas has changed its government every 5 years since 1997, because they have never been satisfied. Where they're not satisfied, they vote them out and they vote the next team. And the problem we are facing here in Trinidad and Tobago, and not so Tobago, Trinidad, right? Because Trinidad, Tobagonians have already shown that they have spine and they've made a decision. In Trinidad, we have a party, a government, and we have an opposition. And I want to correct something. I had to tell this to Gary the other day. There's nothing like a third party. A political party is a political party is a political party. The SNP is a political party that sits in the in the Parliament of Britain, of the United Kingdom. And if you were to refer to them, if anybody, the Labours or the Labour Conservatives, were to refer to them as a third party, there'd be a huge uproar in the Parliament, because they are a political party, nonetheless. If you were to go to Canada and you ask about the National Democratic Party, the NDP, and you refer to the NDP as a third party, its leader is going to stand up and he's going to walk away from any alliance, because he's the one that is currently holding up the Trudeau administration, right? So a political party is a political party. What is the role and function of a political party? A political party's role and main function is to win an election. That is what it says in the political science theories. The role of a political leader is to come together to influence and to inform and to speak with the masses and its followers to get them to go to achieve a particular goal. And I'm paraphrasing from the theories here and the literature. We have a politically, let me tell you something, do not underestimate the institution that is the PNM. I have great respect for it because it has been able to survive over the years from 1956 to now. The UNC and the opposition has evolved over time. And that is because for decades, the opposition has continuously been fragmented and fractured, and it has morphed in from one to the other, to the other, to the other. The UNC as it is now is nothing but a reconstruction of the ULF as it was before and the DLP. What we need in Trinidad and Tobago is someone to sit down and say to all the different parties, the COP, the undecided, the MSJ, the NTA, the Patriotic Front, the Hope, and whatever else exists. Listen to me. The country is looking for a leader that can take them to the next level. They're looking for Mia Motley. They're looking for an Obama. They're looking for a young Mitchell from Grenada. That is what they're looking for. They're looking for a wholeness. Correct. Correct is right. Right? That is who they're looking for. The country is ripe for picking for that. The country is definitely in need of constitutional and public sector reform, because as you rightfully, as Florida rightfully say, the ease of doing business is so bureaucratic and so institutionalized and so under Weber's bureaucracy system that it is easier to just bribe somebody and get what you want.
But you know something? I don't hear the PNM, the government talking about foreign direct investment. You know?
The only one person that is talking about foreign direct investment ever so often is the Minister of Trade, and that is because that is her portfolio. But the fact of the matter is we need to do an investigation and look, and as you rightfully like to say, a fact check as to what has been Trinidad and Tobago's foreign direct investment within the period 2015 to 2020.
You know what? I will do that. I'm gonna try to find that out. I'm gonna try to find that out. Just because, you know, when I think about it, man, and you think about all these other small Jamaica, Barbados, you know, Bahamas, you know, I don't hear two things. I don't hear foreign direct investment, and I don't hear diversification. I hear it from a negative perspective. Oh, you talk about diversification. These things are significantly important. And in my estimation, Trinidad needs a prime minister can inspire the people. They need an inspirational prime minister. You know, it's funny. I heard Ralph Gonzalez of St. Vincent today. He was talking about this young lady who was running and she was having a hard time and they are trying to help her now and thing. And you could see the fella was, you could see that Ralph could try to kind of motivate you in a little way now. You know what I mean? You could see he's kind of human. But when you look at our prime minister, you just wonder if
be careful.
Be careful. You see how Tommy stop?
Go ahead.
Tommy wants me to be impeccable in my words. Tommy, I am going to. You know, we just want the people of Trinidad and Tobago wants a leader who can inspire them for a better tomorrow. In my estimation, you know, when you listen to the leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, they really don't inspire the people. There's no inspiration. You know, it's just to me like, you know, it's rah-rah, back and forth. Rah-rah, rah-rah. All the time, rah-rah. You come on a press conference, you go after the reporters and them poor reporters. Because them don't even ask no real questions. Them can't ask no real questions.
No, I would not say that, you know. I would say that.
Wait. Dr. Mohammed, I want to stop you. Dr. Mohammed, I listen to them press conference. I have to tell you, if them reporters was in my class, they would have got an F-.
Well, You have to also take into consideration that there are media houses, but all media houses, when that press conference comes out, they've gotten accustomed to as you rightfully say it, a prime ministerial press conference should be a statement that that most people can understand and comprehend, and then you ask certain questions. Or a prime ministerial press conference should come and there are points that are made. This is what I will be speaking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when you have a prime minister that comes out and rambles, and he rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles and doesn't give you, it wears you out at the end at the end of the rambling. Who in God's name do you want a journalist to then remember what he said in the beginning of the what I have observed, the body language of the of most journalists, right, that are sitting in the room, they like this, and they go take a note and they go look up. But nobody's inspired to ask a question. So sometimes when he asks a question, I saw a prime minister when he was addressing the media one day, and you get in the shot of him and you get in the shot of the media, and the room has about 6 journalists, and he said, "Are there any questions? Are there any questions? And are there any questions?" And then a man decided, "Well, all right, I go ask a question." Right? and then he answer. And you get a halfway response. No. At the end of the day, if you do, as prime minister, if you don't have respect for journalists, right, who are the media, the guardians of democracy, oh good Lord, you have to be able to be transparent and be open to scrutiny. You have to be able to answer the question to them. You have to be able to explain something to them. If you don't know how to, take a page out of Mina Motley's book, no man.
But not only that, Dr. Mohammed, if you think something, get a chief of staff and let your chief of staff come out every Friday and have a press conference. And
but that is what you have a minister of communications for.
Oh, well.
And a minister of communication that's holding a portfolio and collecting a cabinet salary.
Minister of what?
Minister of communications.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
The Honorable Simon Deno Brega. Okay. Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Central.
Somebody call him the nosebreaker. Is that true?
Right? But
Julia,
the thing about it is, let me tell you something. You are right. We need an inspirational leader. We also need a charismatic leader. We need a leader that understands what it is to be poor and work their tail off to get to where they are today. They also need somebody.
As you say that, and listen to this, and me and Karen Nunes, we good. We real good. You understand? But I watch the management and hope. I wonder if them people could go and talk to people up in Lavantil.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm just asking.
You understand what I'm saying?
I need your help. I need your help.
No, you understand. So you see my point? We cannot want to lead a country and call yourself, like, let me tell you, a lot of my words, that is people that take my words on this show and slam, and it doesn't run with it. That is why I put up my disclaimer about patriotic the other day, just now, right? In the last time I appeared on this show, I said we need a leader to give people hope, to give them the motivation to get up to do the work that is needed to carry the country forward. We need to be able to inspire the young people and the children and the poor and the downtrodden that tomorrow is going to be better because we're a government that is working for you and working towards the betterment and development of our human capacity and our human resources and the development of our nation. That is hope. And do you know that a man take that word and say, went in another political party and say, but Shane joined hope.
I should have answered you.
But I have not joined a political party. I have been asked to join political parties, and I have not joined a political party because at this stage of the game, one, it is pertinent to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and your listeners that I maintain my independence for now, so that I am able to have discussions of this kind to the wider society, right? Is there persons who have approached me to form a new political party? Yes. Is that something to be considered? Yes. Is the time right now? No. Because as you rightfully say, nothing is wrong with forming a new political party. But if I form a new political party, then I become a political leader. Am I ready to become a political leader and remove my independence right now as a political scientist and commentator? No. Am I capable of leading a political party? Yes. Do I have the knowledge and understanding of what a political party's role and function is? Yes. Do I understand good governance? Of course I do, right? Do I know what leadership is? Yes, because that's what my PhD is in, right? But the fact of the matter is, that is what I studied. The fact of the matter is, anybody who wants to lead the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago from 2025 onwards must understand the value in people, their talents, their strengths, their weaknesses, what are the opportunities and threats available to them, and who would be best placed to serve as a member of parliament under the current system that exists, taking into consideration that while we desire constitutional reform, we must be able to first explain to the people in a language that they understand why is it necessary. And one of the reasons why it is necessary is foreign direct investment and the ease of doing business, and to remove corruption from within the system so that people don't have to go and pay $200 and $500 to get their damn license.
You know, it's funny you say that. I mean, one of these days I want to call them PNM activists hosts on them radio station if they know FDI.
Yes. You know what they will go and look for? Something in the United States, the Federal Division of Investigation.
Federal Development of Investigation. That's the federal. That's
what it is.
Yeah, that's the FBI.
That is what it is.
That's the FBI.
Right? Do you know that under this government, and I am saying it because I know it, I don't talk about things I don't know. Under this administration, a British businessman, wanted to come and establish a business in Trinidad and Tobago and give us that foreign direct investment.
Wow, foreign direct investment.
He put in his application to register his company in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and after 2 weeks, he had not received a response. You know what he did? He inquired about what it would be like to set up business in Barbados.
Easy.
To set up a business in Barbados takes 48 hours.
Easy.
You know what he did?
Easy.
He took his business to he went there. He went there, right? Under Vasant Bharat, when he was Minister of Trade, Industry, Investment, and everything else, right? He set up a system called From Red Tape to Red Carpet, which established an easier system to register a company and to start getting foreign direct investment into the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago so that foreign companies could come. When I left when my directorship under the Trinidad and Tobago Free Zone Company Limited ended in 2016, there were over 100 companies that were waiting for approval by the minister to come and set up business in Trinidad and Tobago of different kinds, from technology to plastics, right, to recycling. And to date, nothing has been done. From a board of 9 persons under their first administration from 2015 to 2020, a board of 9 went to a board of 3. That is to tell you how much value they saw in special economic zones, but that Conor would love to throw in a budget speech.
But
we have them. But we given acres of land in Tobago, 13 to be exact. In the coastal estate, to plant strawberries.
Yes.
Right? To plant strawberries, and then you saw yesterday and today, you see that the Met Office and other meteorological establishments are putting out that between 2011 and 2020 and present, our Trinidad and Tobago has been its hottest ever as a result of climate change, right? And we want to plant strawberries. So we couldn't have given those same that same 13 acres to plant oranges, mangoes, things that are or short. If you want to go short-term crops, yam and cassava and dasheen, so that we will limit our import bill.
No, why you want to limit the import bill so the finances them could stop making money? Well, you
And again, that's the next thing. Nobody has asked me what is my perspective about the raise in the salary. And I have a perspective on that. But that is not something for me to say no. That is for me if the time comes to stand up on a platform and say. And then we will know who really have Trinidad and Tobago at heart. Who really and truly has Trinidad and Tobago, the people of Trinidad and Tobago at heart.
Well, Dr. Mohammed, in my estimation, the first question I will ask, who appoints the Salary Review Commission?
The president.
The president. Who normally responsible for the president becoming the president?
The government. The electoral college.
Okay, yeah. You be diplomatic.
It's a process, albeit a very flawed process, right?
No, it's albeit a flawed process. It's a very flawed.
It's a very flawed process. You see, there are so many things that I am not prepared to talk about at this point in time because I am not about to give political parties manifesto promises. Go and be innovative. Go and be forward thinking on your own.
But listen to
the point is,
the
point is, at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago needs a new leader, a new leadership, a new director.
So listen to this, right? We had David Abdullah on Tuesday going there, right? And I asked David Abdullah, I said, David, can you give me 3 innovative ideas that we have had in Trinidad for the past 9 years? And he, him, he, ho, he, ho, he. Tommy, I think he come up with one, Tommy.
Yes.
Yeah, he come.
Which one?
What was the one again, Tommy? I forget which one. But I would figure that David is an economist, right? I would figure that David Abdullah will be well informed to give me 3 innovative ideas in the past 9 years. So I tell him the farm thing under Foster Cummins. He laugh. The farm thing, right? And I only asked for 3, you know. I asked for 5. And this is innovation. Innovation is important in a country. You tell me 9 years? 9 years?
Well, you see, what you should have also asked him is to give you 3 innovative ideas from within the MSG that he would propose if he were Prime Minister.
I think he would have been able to come up with that.
But that is what I would like to hear.
If
you see,
I think he would have
the
been
thing
able.
The thing about it is, again, answer them. It comes down to how do we go forward. Kamla, and I tell you earlier, I tell you because I know, right? I tell you because I know. Jack will not be successful in uniting Kamla and Gary.
But listen, I mean, let's be honest. It will be difficult for Gary to go it alone and be the PNM and the UNC. What he can strive for is try to win 2 seats, and then he could be a big player in telling somebody, well, listen, I put in these 2 seats on the table and could be a bargaining chip. Because if the TPP was to win the 2 seats in Tobago, right, and Gary was somehow supposed to get 2 seats, that is 4 seats, right? So there's 37 seats now between the PNM and the UNC, right? If the UNC happen to hold on to the 19 seats, if cancel Christmas. It's over. Because you know, I would not think that the TPP will go with the PNM or that the NTA will go with the PNM. So it's basically over. So I think Gary's thinking that I don't have to win 19 seats. I want to win maybe 2 seats.
But you see, what about Michaela, who said she's going into the election in 2025 with all?
Well, Michaela could be a dark horse.
In
By the
what?
way,
In what?
In the election.
Which election?
But she could try to win 2 seats too. Because
so you want everybody? So you just giving people 2-2?
Yeah, I gave them 2-2 because
that's very suspect.
But no, but if they are being honest, they have to know they ain't gonna win 21 seats. They have to be honest.
You're giving you have to start. Let's start from base.
But hold up, let's go for the break. All that thought. Let's go for the quick break. First, it's in the village with yours truly, Professor Wall Street, Uncle Tommy, and we have with us Dr. Shane Mohammed. We're having a very, very, very interesting discussion here tonight. So let's go for the quick break. We'll be right back. Stick and stay.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM. Radio in New Jersey for talk, news, sports, and information from the Caribbean. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to In the Village on WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in New Jersey for talk, sports, news, and information from the Caribbean. WZYE.
We are back with you. It's In the Village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, Dr. Shane Mohammed, and you on WZYE 95.9 FM. Dr. Mohammed, just before we go, right, I want to say this.
You make me pull out the book.
Oh, okay. I want to say this, that the parties other than the PNM and the UNC, in my estimation, yes, they can compete. They can compete in 41 constituencies, but I think the goal is to 2 seats. Because if 2 party wins 2 seats, that's 4 seats, right? 2 parties, TPP and whoever else, Patriotic Front, NTA, COP, if it's not Ola Christopher, right? Whoever it is, Hope, COP still in existence?
So they say.
Yeah, and them and Hope getting together?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, anyone it is? So in my estimation, 4 seats can have a significant impact on the election.
And who's going to be Prime Minister?
Huh?
Who's going to be Prime Minister?
Well. That is what them fellas playing for the trump card. For example, let's say Farley win the 2 seats in Tobago, right? And then the PNM and the UNC split the other
15,
30.
15.
Huh?
15.
No.
Let's start them at 15. They equal.
All right.
That's 30 seats.
Right. So then Farley is the decision maker. Farley can decide.
Give Gary 2 seats, right? Give Gary 2 seats.
Yeah.
Michaela 2 seats. And Farley 2 seats. 15 plus 6 is 21.
Yeah.
You really think a government of 21 could function in Trinidad and Tobago at this stage of the game effectively to effect proper change, institutional change that we need?
Them fellas don't care.
That's the thing. You know what we just did?
What?
We took the power out of the hands of the people and put it in the hands of the politicians all over again.
Yeah, but them
and
don't
that
care.
is what we are trying to change.
But them don't care, Dr. Mohammed. All they want to do, all they want to see is that if I'm the political leader of the this is
It
the last,
cannot be a scenario.
let's take this last
That's
call.
why that's true.
When
Yeah.
is the further? Quick.
Yeah, a quick call. So I understand with the 2 seats, right? And the 4 seats and then, but listen, huh? If if Miss Answer, me hear me?
Yeah, we hearing you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me say Fali. Let me just do 15-15 and Fali win 2 seats. We just join a number.
Right.
And let me say he willing to join with the UNC and he make his demands, right? And UNC agree to the demands. That agreement becomes dicey, rocky, because certain things Farley want again to additionally, which he didn't add for the deal because he just things come up, then that will create an issue. And that's the same thing will happen to the last Peter partnership government disagreement. Look on and listen.
All right. Now listen to this. In my estimation, if I am Fali and I win the 2 seats, I want to be the prime minister.
The Fali doesn't want to be prime minister. So stop right there.
No, he doesn't want to be. No.
He has
No.
Fali doesn't. So I know that the TPP is already considering who its candidates are for East and West, and by all indication that they are in line to win East and West, right?
Right.
So let's give Tobago Tobago is to give on to the TPP. So they have 2 seats there. Kamala believes that she could win all 19 that exist, right? There's no guarantee that she's going to win Chaguanas East again, and there's no guarantee that she's going to win Maruga Tableland. 19 minus 2 is 17. 17 plus 2 in Tobago is 19. The government is still in the hands of the PNL.
You forget Gary.
Yes, because I'm saying that Gary does not want to stand and align himself with Kamala because there has to be, again, Kamala has some characters inside of her party that does not want to negotiate, does not understand political negotiation.
But Shane, Dr. Shane.
Political negotiation can happen after, answer. Let me tell you something. You asked me about uniting everybody to come together, right?
Yep.
Uniting everybody is not about criticizing people. It is about being able to sit down in a room with fellas and say, listen to me. There are certain limitations that exist, and whatever is said in this room cannot be said outside of this room, because if anybody breaches the confidentiality of this conversation, then we can't go into government together. Because what is said in this room will form the foundation of whether we can have collective cabinet responsibility, ministerial responsibility under the cabinet rules. Because they have to start behaving in that manner. So one, if there are certain limitations that certain people have. So for example, you have a conversation and you say, listen, Hope, let me tell you something. You all are seen as elitist. You all are seen as disconnected from society. You all are seen as unable to win over the masses, because all people see is a I'm sorry to say it like this, but plain to bad manners, right? I have nothing, and I'm saying it again, I have nothing against Sharon, I have nothing against Hammersmith. I don't know who else is in their party, right? But the country does not want another old white man as their prime minister.
But not only
who was
that,
climbing over a rail to go to a state funeral that he was not invited to.
Yeah, but Dr. Mohammed, there has to
you
be
go to Gary and you say to Gary, say, listen to me. What do you want? And who do you want to bring? Who within your party is capable of becoming a responsible minister with a certain level of integrity and accountability and transparency to face the public? Give me your names. You go to, I don't know about where cup going, because as far as I see, the members of the COP are already a part and parcel of the UNC. They're no longer part of the UNC. They're on the outside. They go back to being swing voters. Some of them are within the NPA. So I don't know what is the numbers within the COP. You have a conversation with we know what Tobago wants, but they have to be able to understand that you have to be able to give Tobago what it needs to be able to achieve its own goals and objectives for the betterment of the people of Tobago. Then you're speaking to PF, right?
Patriotic Front.
You're talking to the Patriotic Front, right? You have to have a frank discussion and say, listen, lady, X, Y, and Z is the case. This is what is the scenario. You see, unless somebody is willing to sit down and have frank discussions and frank and confidential discussions. So, and you're calling David and say, David, listen, this is what the scenario is. And whoever else there might be.
Pep.
Yes. But you have to first be able to get Gary to sit down in a room with Philip without two of them going at each other's neck.
No, well, you put them in like COVID-19. Do you still have that kind of glass shield?
6 feet away.
You put that glass shield between both of them.
Nina asked me a question earlier. She asked me, well, if I am going here and I am going there, what am I going to do the next election? Let me tell you something. A great man in this country said, a day in politics is like a lifetime. And we don't know yet what tricks, what trades. I see this morning, I got up and I see an article where there's someone who's interested in purchasing the refinery. And I said, if they Rowley sell the refinery to anybody outside of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, he has sold the country completely.
I feel I just gimmick, man. I feel I just gimmick.
You see, the PNM under this, I am sorry to say this, but the PNM under Keith Rowley, actually no, I'm not sorry. The PNM under Keith Rowley has killed the legacy of Eric Williams and Patrick Manning. And I don't care what nobody say. Manning wasn't a bad. Patrick Manning wasn't a bad prime minister. And nor was he a bad leader.
I was gonna say you don't have to go that far back. You could go right back to Patrick Manning. You don't have to go that
Correct.
far back. Right to Patrick Manning. A man has really and truly.
You know what was it? You know what this study shows? You know, let me tell everybody this. You know what this study has shown? The study has shown that the vision Patrick Manning had was so transformational for Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
That he did not, it was way outside of the constitutional parameters which allowed him to see that vision. So there was UDCOT and this one and that one and the other one that that was parallel. You can't build a parallel organization and a parallel government. He himself said the word in 1995. He said you take a little and make a lot with it. And he forgot he said that at an OAS meeting. But Basti Pandey said the very same thing and was able to prove it. This country needs a political catharsis. This country is in dire need of constitutional reform and public sector reform, and it is in dire need of a reconstruction and reconfiguration of our processes and procedures in order for us to move forward as a people and not as classes.
And you know what, Dr. Mohammed? We are going to leave it there because we have to pick back up this discussion because I think this is the type of discussion we have to continue having, and for people to start thinking critically, and for them to not just think in party all the time and think about country.
They have to start thinking about themselves. What do they want for themselves in the next 5 years? Look at Guyana.
Yeah.
The Guyanas, I have seen some pictures, live pictures out of Georgetown. Listen to me. A simple thing like cleanliness, a simple word like safe. I can walk on the Georgetown boardwalk where that it is well lit, it is clean and safe. Let us first start to talk about simple things, safety and security of our people.
And we didn't even get to the thing to this couple was robbed in Port of Spain. It so happened
I
that the
saw that, and that is such an embarrassment,
it's an
right? But that is to tell you the culture that has been crafted in our country, that it is simple, it is easier for the little tout to run. And let me tell you something. It is easier for the little tout to run up to a white woman or a white man or a foreigner and not take into consideration the long-term effects of grabbing that chain off the lady's neck.
You look here. I mean,
Right? And there must be, it cannot be that the judicial and criminal justice system just simply puts him in a jail and that's it. It can't be just that, earlier.
Yeah. But you know what,
So
Doctor?
we have to see it holistically.
Yeah, so Dr. Mohammed, what we're gonna do? We're gonna, I think this is spring break for me. Do you guys have spring break in Trinidad?
Nah, we have a spring, we have Sahara dust. We are currently in the season of Sahara dust, bushfires, a lot of smoke, and irresponsible people who just simply believe that it's okay to burn rubbish and just leave it, let the wind blow it away.
Oh my God! Yeah, yesterday was my midterms, so the next few days I have to go and correct papers now.
Don't worry, I'm doing that in the next few days as well.
Yeah. But it's always a pleasure, Dr. Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining us. Any closing words?
People, we have to start thinking about what we want for ourselves and for a better Trinidad and Tobago, and stop thinking that the only solution is UNC and PNM. It is not impossible for us to achieve. I just outlined how to get it done in very short sentences, because I cannot teach politicians how to behave at this stage.
Correct.
And a new leader will arise.
Thank you, man. It's always a pleasure.
Same here.
All right. Take care.
Good night, Shane.
Yeah. There we go, Tommy. It's always a beautiful conversation, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Closing comments, Tommy. Anyway, guys, Hailey, Nina, Judy, Lions Love, Mr. Florida, if you're still there, put closing comments in the chat. Caribbean Soul, Takesha, Darren, Joel, put closing comments in the chat. I saw what's the name
Judy.
again? Judy, not Judy, the other one. Rose. I saw Rose.
Yeah, Rose came in.
Yeah, and I saw Carissa as well. Put closing comments in the chat. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, let me let you go first this time.
Yes. You cannot depend on your judgment when your imagination is out of focus. These are words of Mark Twain. I'll say it one more time. You cannot depend on your judgment when your imagination is out of focus. Like I always say, you, the man in the mirror, has to become the change that you want to see. However, if you look in that mirror and you don't like what you see, do not blame the mirror. Never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand up. Like I always say, love is the key. Love gives life. Hate is not. Love your brother, and that's the most important thing you can ever do. Love you all. Stay strong. Be safe. Good night.
Thank you, Tommy. And my closing quote is, it's during the worst storms of your life that you will get to see the true colors of people who say they care for you. It's during the worst storms of your life that you will get to see the true colors of people who say they care for you. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. Your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Mean Gene say you just got back in. Yeah, Tommy, this was and we need to have more discussions like this, And today's Tuesday. I don't know who we got for Sunday as yet. But we want to continue to have these type of discussions. I'm actually trying to get the leader of hope to come in, Timothy Hamel Smith, to have a discussion. All right. So
Let's
Tommy,
do it.
yeah, what are we going out with?
I don't know. Today was a funeral for that Laventille youth.
Yeah. So maybe I put the diamonds. We are the eyes on the hills. I don't know. So what do you want?
Something that talk to the behavior and could help to probably motivate and make the behavior better.
So tell me, look for something. So Denise, thank you for joining us. Denise say, great discussion tonight. Protocol wins every time. Mr. Florida says, Mr. Ansem, closing comments. Always remember that the day turns into night. Just like the next day is a new beginning, live life to the fullest. There we go. Full 100. Yeah, Tommy. Brother Resistance. Which one? Brother Resistance. All right. Let me get which one, Hailey? Quick. Come on. Let me get Brother Resistance. Brother Resistance. What is that one we used to play here, Tommy? By Brother Resistance. We just used to play a short snippet. Can't take that.
Yes.
That is it. Yeah, you can't take that. Here we go. Brother Resistance. Okay, folks. Good night. Take care, everybody.
Good night, Slim.
Good night. Oh, I didn't get it. Hold on. Hold on, I get it. All right, folks. Sorry about that. That's me. Let me fix it now. I gotta get Brother Resistance. Brother Resistance was a good man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was a good one. A real down-to-earth brother. Yeah. All right, folks. Here it is.
I walk my finger to the bone for my country. I squeeze blood out a stone for my country. The people in authority, mashing up my family. So much a years that we sweat and toil, let's be blood and tears, wait till the soil, but we still suffering today. And we children can't see the way. Hey, I wake up in the morning and there's unemployment, I can't take that. We wake up in the morning and there's more retrenchment, I can't take that. When they going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning, more frustration, I can't take that. No, ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that. Hey, I love to live, but my life is a scramble. I had to teach to put a bread on my table. You mock democracy, licking up my dignity. So much a hungry mouth is to feed, is we cry blood just to sow the seed, but we still suffering in pain, and we children feeling the strain. I wake up in the morning and there's unemployment, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and there's more retrenchment, I can't take that. When they go to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. I wake up in the morning and there's more frustration, I can't take that. No, ain't taking that, so people ain't taking that. 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 I had to cry from the belly of the nation. You mash me corn and you cause aggravation. Life under poverty is endless agony. And after all that we sacrifice, dog give me dinner and we pay the price. But we must get justice today, so we children could see the way. Hey, wake up in the morning and there's unemployment, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and it's more retrenchment. I can't take that. When they going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and it's more frustration, I can't take that. No, ain't taking that. So people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So people ain't taking that.
The all-new GoDaddy Aero helps you get your business online in minutes with the power